have a Christmas special.
I'm
Something
trying to fix
similar to
my
what
mic.
Cooper Flagg, something similar to what Cooper Flagg delivered to Nikola Jokic last night. Christmas came early for Cooper Flagg, and it wasn't delightful for Nikola Jokic. But you know what? Kawhi Leonard delivered Christmas to Houston and KD as well last night. We're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about the NBA's new potential tanking rules. What does this mean for the lower seeds and the worser teams in the NBA, especially moving forward? We'll talk about the Thunder taking another loss to Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs. Also, Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, ex-teammates, went head-to-head and they do it against each other. We're going to talk about that game, and we're also going to revisit that trade and talk about who won it. And last but certainly not least, hey, Penn, the NBA has a new gravity leaderboard. I can't wait to talk about exactly what that is, what it looks like, what it means. And I know Ox can't wait to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Fellas, what's good? How y'all feeling today? Real talk, Damian, Penn, Chill, Big Ox.
You felt like
good.
that.
Merry
Like
Christmas
that
from Dan on the chat.
Hey,
Merry Christmas.
And my dog Casual. What's going on, man? Hey, Christmas really came early, y'all. I'm telling you. Hey, you guys are in for a hell of an episode. Look, y'all, we're going to get into Cooper Flagg here in a second. We'll get into Kawhi Leonard. We'll get into Wemby, the Spurs, and what happened against OKC. But I typically don't do this because I'm an L host, but it is the holiday season and the gift keeps giving. So we're going to start with a super chat from official D3. Official said, if the Warriors trade Steph Curry for Jason Tatum, I think both teams would improve dramatically. Celtics in 5 if Steph is there, and the Warriors can retool around a younger star. How do we feel about this? Is this silly nonsense? Is this just some 2K stuff?
We started early on that.
Celtics and 5. Yeah, it's the Steph Curry fans. That's who it is. It's the Steph Curry fans who are as ridiculous as you can possibly be. First and foremost, why would the Celtics entertain this? Why? Why would they even entertain getting Steph Curry for Jason Tatum? What for?
Because
why, Ron?
Steph's better than Tatum.
I don't think I would do that. As a matter of fact, I know I wouldn't do that. Like if I'm the boss, there's no way I'd do that. But if you had Steph Curry on that team right now with Jaylen Brown in them, they could win the East.
Casual, would you do this?
No. No.
Hold on. No on whose side?
If I'm the Warriors, I'm not doing it because I think the Warriors should just let Steph be there till he's over, have the farewell tour and everything, let him go out gracefully as a Warrior. It'll benefit the franchise. But if you're the Celtics, no. I mean, Tatum's got, if he comes back, I don't know if he's going to come back 100%, but let's say he comes back like Kevin Durant came back, like 95 to 90% of what he was. That's 10 years of Jason Tatum compared to how many years of Steph? And is like still good, like one or two,
maybe two more, maybe two more we got.
And if you trade for Steph right now, he's got to get the chemistry. You got to build the offense around Steph. So it's not a sure thing that it's just going to, they're going to be firing on all cylinders by the deadline. You know what I mean?
But the difference is that the difference is that these Warrior fans, and you could just throw Steph in on any crew at any time, and it's going to work immediately, just like that. Because the Boston Celtics have that kind of offense where it's very 3 heavy. So because it's very 3 heavy, that's perfect for what Steph Curry is doing. And the Boston Celtics, this is the only thing that they're missing. When in reality, what you really are is just fans of Steph Curry. The problem with the Golden State Warriors is not Curry. The problem with the Golden State Warriors is that you never shored up your front line. You never shored up your big man. Why you think Draymond and Steve Kerr got into it the other night? You know why, Ox? Because I'm sick of guarding big guys. I'm sick of having to deal with Wemby. I'm sick of having to deal with Zubac. I'm sick of having to deal with all of these guys. Where the big guys at? Okay, when you run down, and I'm sorry I'm animated because I can't believe I'm actually defending Draymond here. But when you run down a list, when you're looking at a team, okay, I got my defender. Okay, there's my primary distributor. Okay, there he is. There's my bucket getter. Okay, there he is. My dirty work guys. Okay, there they go right there. Okay, where my glass cleaners at? Where my big guys at? Where are they at? Because we don't have any of that over here. But we expect because the Golden State Warriors have Steph Curry, he's going to make up for all of that. Only except he's not. That's the problem.
Well, chill,
In Golden State, he's not going to make up for all of that.
I don't think he's going to make up for everything. First, I want to say that I'm not going to sit around and enable that type of those actions from Draymond Green. I can't enable that. He's just a jerk, right? But to your first statement, though, chill. Steph Curry plays for the Golden State Warriors. And he's always played for the Golden State Warriors. If he played for any other of those 29 teams in the association, he could absolutely make an impact on day one. Not could, he would. You can put Steph Curry on any team in the world, and he instantly makes an impact.
If he was in Charlotte, it'd be different.
If he was in Charlotte, he would instantly make impact. That would be a better team.
Pin Damian, real talk. But before we move on to Cooper Flagg and what he did to you guys' GOAT last night, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on Steph Curry and Jason Tatum swap.
Hold on. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was not in the building. He was not on the court getting whooped. So you're not telling me that he did anything to my GOAT. He didn't do nothing.
Bad. The
to my
current GOAT.
Number one.
The current GOAT. The living GOAT.
James didn't play last night either against. He got whooped by somebody else. So
okay. So really you taking swipes at someone who's not here. That's what you doing right now. You venting your feelings out.
See what you did there.
Because yes.
Intended.
The pun was absolutely intended. I will say this though. I would love to see Steph Curry in Boston. I would love to see it, but I would like to see it with Jason Tatum because I think Jason Tatum would be amazing with Steph Curry. I would not want to see those two swap for each other.
I think the internet would break if something like that happened. But I think it'd be better for Golden State than it would for Boston. I think to Ox's point, Steph Curry can make an impact anywhere on day one, but to get another 10 years of Tatum, I think would be incredible for Golden State. And to be honest, a steal in the grand scheme of things. But I don't think anything like this would happen. I think I think the Warriors would never trade Steph. I think he's going to retire there and sail off into the sunset and be done. But cool fantasy.
Real talk, surely you would like to get Steph out of the division, right? And the conference.
Well, I'm not worried about Steph Curry anymore. We're past those days of being worried about Steph Curry as far as winning championships and stuff.
You fight that? Do you guys fight that?
Well, why would we be worried about Steph
Curry? Absolutely, I fight that.
We're not worried about Steph Curry. That team is past its prime. But shout out to Steph 24th. Curry and Golden
Y'all remember
State.
this.
Remember it, write it down, take a picture. I don't you know what I'm saying? I don't care, bro. Yeah. So I'm with Damian though. I don't even the hypothetical is weird to me. Like I literally can't even imagine Steph Curry putting on another jersey than a Golden State Warrior jersey. But I also think the Warriors would win, just like Damian said, because they get the younger player who's better, should be better at least.
Real talk, is your team the Houston Rockets or the LA Lakers?
Both.
Okay. So I want you to imagine a situation where your team, whichever team it is, the Lakers or the Rockets, are in a 7-game series and it's down to the wire and y'all 1 quarter away from advancing. And that man, Steph Curry, number 30, walks onto the court for the Golden State Warriors. What's your anxiety level?
I have a guy on my team who has routinely outperformed him in a playoff setting. Routinely. Why would I be worried?
Who?
LeBron James. Whenever they play head-to-head, LeBron James routinely outplays him. So why would I be worried?
Okay. I mean,
Father
Time.
A little
41,
ago, right?
but okay.
A little bit ago.
He's still getting busy though,
we
Penn.
Wrong?
Still
So is Steph. Steph is still getting busy.
Yeah, he is. But
This
we
all I want to know. Could we possibly be wrong about Steph Curry, just like we was wrong about LeBron James? Because y'all said Steph got maybe 2 years left. You know, Steph had some injury, some ankle injury stuff early in his career, but I mean, he's still pretty dangerous. Could Steph be around for much longer than we think he will be?
Well, to your point, Ox, I think we argue in two different things. One, could Steph be around longer? Sure, because he does have this one thing that can extend his game. Can he continue to play at this level that he's playing at? No, I don't think so. I think Father Time will catch up with him in that aspect. But I think that he'll always be able to shoot the ball and have an impact on the game. Will he have the same impact that he had 2 years ago? Like when he turns 40, will he have the same impact that he had when he was 37? No. Because if you watch Steph Curry today, I mean, it's obvious that he's not the Steph Curry that he was 3 years ago. He is slower. I mean, he's still effective and he still picks his spots. And in 3 years from now, it's going to be the same story. He's going to be slower than what he was. And I still think he'll be effective, Ox. I just think that when we're talking about a guy playing at that level, no, I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah. But that's all reason I'm asking, because Bron clearly slowed down, but he's still one of the better players.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I could look at Steph and say, I mean, his body could hold up, should be able to. He's not as heavy as Bron. You know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily.
But we know how shooters grace. We know how shooters age over time.
Like Bron, you know, you have to use that athleticism, you know, get to the rack, be banged up a lot, and he can shoot the ball so well that I don't see why we should be thinking Steph will fall off anytime soon.
I don't think Steph's going to fall off anytime soon at all. Just one last thing, Ron. Steph Curry has only played 35,000 minutes in his career. LeBron is approaching 60,000 minutes in his career. So all those early injuries, I mean, that's a crazy split. That is a crazy number, because you would think they've been around the same time, but they haven't been. You know, Steph was.
So what you're trying to say is Steph got 30,000 more minutes left?
But do you think that speaks?
I mean, not necessarily, because obviously he's not going to be playing until he's 50. But I'm just saying, like, you know, the fact that he's been on better teams, he hasn't had to carry as much of a load. Like, he hasn't been a single star. And the fact that he got into the league a little bit later, he didn't have that intense mileage early on. He is, okay, yes, he's not LeBron James in terms of, like, he's not a genetic freak. He's not a jump out of he's not generational. But in a lot of ways, he is generational, isn't he? He's generational in terms of his durability. And people talk about, like, how much he runs around every single night. Like, okay, fine. Maybe a couple of years from now, he's not gonna cover the same distance. He's still hella like great. I think size, athleticism, gifts, like just being gifted genetically, and your shooting and your conditioning are the things that carry you forward, but also your intelligence. He checks a lot of boxes in terms of aging gracefully. I think he's going to be really good until he's 41.
Well, that's why, you know, that's why a lot of these older guys are still playing, is because they still know how to play basketball. Whereas these young dudes, they're just kind of relying on what they learned on those cone drills. And these guys got, you know, that superior IQ and actually know how to play the game of basketball. It's hard to get rid of these dudes.
I mean,
well, speaking of young dudes,
right.
Speaking of young dudes that relies on cone drills and athleticism, we gotta talk about Cooper Flagg. Now, 30 games into Cooper Flagg's NBA career, he's averaging 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, damn near 4 assists. And it's been kind of rocky up to this point. But last night, he had arguably his best game as a pro against one of the better teams, not in the Western Conference, but the NBA. We are talking about Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and the Denver Nuggets. Cooper Flagg went off. And if you missed it, go back and watch the highlights. Go back and check it out, because it was spectacular. He caught a couple bodies, and on top of that, he was knocking down the 3 ball, went 4 for 6 from 3, 14 of 21 from the field, 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and he wasn't just by himself. Anthony Davis came and hooped too. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. AD showed up and balled out as well. And you know Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic. So he had 29 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds. Jamal Murray as well, 31 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds. He hooped too. Fellas, talk to me about this game. In specific, we got to talk about Cooper Flagg.
You know,
how do you guys feel about Cooper?
He's the youngest player to ever put up that stat line.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg has been absolutely amazing. Basically, since he's been relieved of his point guard duties, he's been a top 50 player in the NBA, like kind of immediately. And what's crazy about Cooper Flagg and his development is the fact that he is as good as advertised, but we got the wrong advertisement, ironically enough, because everybody's initial thought about Cooper Flagg was when he got to the league in his rookie season, he's going to be like this high level defender and have major impact on the defensive end, and his offense will come over time. But what has happened is he's actually not as good of a defender as we thought he was initially, right? Obviously still very young, but he's just a really good offensive player already. As soon as he's not having to dominate the ball and bring it up, now we see him running off these pin downs. He's great if you let him turn the corner. Spencer Jones found out he can punch it on you, right? If you do kind of catch up to him, he has a good enough handle to operate in these little intermediate spaces where he can get to a pullback, heavy pull-up jumper. The jumper's starting to fall now. So Cooper Flagg is a really good player. And I just enjoy watching him, man. And also, Chill Ox. It's very unfortunate that Jason Kidd sabotaged the Mavs season early on like that and wasting time playing him at point guard. That was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time.
Before we even get into that, I want to talk about Cooper's night last night. I don't want to talk about Jason Tatum Jason Kidd. But chill, that's going to turn into a whole spinoff on another argument about another argument. I want to talk about Cooper, what he did last night.
Yeah,
how do y'all feel about it?
Well, did y'all miss the part where he had 9 assists? Y'all see him running a little bit of point?
That's what I was going to say, Pin, because last night he still had a lot of ball handling.
He had a ton of point guard duties last night.
I'm not saying that.
By Jason Kidd helping him develop that and throw him into the thick of things and just send him out there to the Wolves and tell the kid we'll deal with it. I think that really helps for games like this where he has late game situations, high pressure late game situations. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the ball in his hands a lot, bringing the ball up the court. They were inbounding the ball and they would give it to Coop. He had a lot of ball handling responsibilities last night.
But that's not really the point. What I'm saying though,
what's the point? The real talk. I want to make sure
he already showed like some playmaking potential and passing potential in college, right? But I also feel like him being such a young player, 18 years old, I think he's also progressed in that area. Not only because yes, he's gotten some reps, but now he's a far more confident player because he gets to do things that he's good at. So now he's just more settled. He's settled in the game. He's not starting off the game doing things he's not accustomed to, leading to bad results. You let him be a wing. You let him get out in transition. You let him work off other dribble drive. Like there's plenty of plays now where the Nembhard brother will penetrate the lane. Coop beats his man, cuts baseline or something, gets a lob. Like that kind of stuff gets him going. So now he's settled into the game. He's a far more confident player because he's achieving stuff on the court. And now I can run this pick and roll. Now I can handle the ball in these certain situations and handle it in transition and get downhill. But that's building confidence because he's already doing stuff that he's good at, opposed to starting the game.
Yesterday, when you watched him, did it seem to you? Because it seemed to me, did it seem like their offense was more settled when he had the ball? Yes. And what I mean when I say what I mean when I say that, what are we talking about when we're talking about a lead guard? Because he's playing the wing, right? But when he's got the ball, he's orchestrating a lot of their offense. He's the one playing dribble handoff with Anthony Davis. He's the one getting downhill and creating offense for other guys when guys are on the wing. Kind of like what a lead guard does, only except he's doing it from the wing position, right? So,
but Nembhard handles the ball a lot too, though.
But since last night specifically, but last night specifically,
it's a matter of him not being. It's a matter of him not always being the initiator exclusively. It's him being a play finisher, and it's him being able to play off guys that are natural guards. Like Nembhard comes in, he can play off Nembhard. D'Angelo Russell comes in, he can play off D'Angelo Russell, but he can still also mix it up and have the ball in his hands. And that's why a guy that's only... Go for it.
Keep going. Keep going.
Finish. Let me finish.
Keep going.
No, I was going to say the early reps, given he's only 19, the early reps he had, I think all of us had the Mavs as a far better team to start the season, and they were really bad. So Jason Kidd giving him the ball in his hands and giving him that freedom early on, he looks far more comfortable to mix up his game now. whereas he looked like a deer in the headlights early on because he was making that transition. So I think it has paid dividends because I thought it was going to be hard for Coop at the start if the Mavs were really good, but the Mavs are actually really bad at the start of the season, and it's helped him now. And you're seeing him, like you say, in the fourth quarter making plays, being a play finisher, being more comfortable out there when the game's on the line. So I think all those early reps have actually helped him, and it's the only way to get better.
Would that be because I just got the job and I don't know what I'm doing? How about that for an idea? How about I just got the job and I really don't know what I'm doing at this position? How about you let me learn and put me in different space, which is what Jason Kidd has been doing, instead of making him the primary ball handler like you would do Chris Paul, right? Like you would do Rondo. All right, I'm gonna make him that. I'm just gonna put him in different space when we're doing that, as opposed to now he was responsible for almost everybody's offense right out the gate. Well, I don't know how to do that right now, but it looks like he's getting more acclimated to that. It looked like he's getting more comfortable with that. And Penn, I noticed an offense when he had the ball, it just looked more settled when he had it.
Yeah, but it's y'all are ignoring the obvious elephant in the room.
What's
you know
that?
that elephant over there with the unibrow that's playing basketball now? The one that had 31 points last night?
That is true.
You know, it's a whole lot easier to play when Anthony Davis is on the court. Like I don't like. Yeah, Coop had a great game last night. Coop's been playing great, but the turnaround in this team comes when Anthony Davis is on the court. That's the difference maker. Now, yes, Coop is a great player, an amazing young fella. He's doing great things, but that shit don't mean nothing without Anthony Davis.
Yo, Casual. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. We haven't really got to hear your takes on Cooper Flagg and him playing point guard early and him kind of playing a little bit more off ball now. How do you feel about his whole season in totality?
Yeah, I mean, I was really high on Cooper Flagg, since high school, right? That we got this LeBron, Jason Tatum, like Swiss Army knife type archetype where he can shoot, pass, dribble, defend, do it all. And we saw it back when he was in Maine as a high schooler, and he's been as good as advertised and more. I thought last night was as good as an early Christmas present as you can get from Mavericks fans, considering how their entire season has been trading their loved face of the franchise in the middle of the night. And now you got this guy that they kind of lucked into, and he's special. I want to put this in perspective, though. Flagg is younger than the Nintendo Wii. He's younger than multiple game system, iPods, and all that. And he had 33.99. He looked like the best player on the same floor with Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis. I mean, this guy is special. I don't know if he'll ever be as good as Luka. He can't run the point like a Luka Doncic can and can facilitate an entire offense or be that offensive engine. But as far as defense, making the cuts like some of you guys were alluding to, he looks – and he just turned 19 3 days ago. So, yeah, he kind of had a shaky start to the season. I kind of just think that's just him figuring out his role in the NBA. And just the more games he gets to play, benefiting also playing next to Anthony Davis might not get the best defender every single night. He's just only going to get better.
And I think that we leave out, we definitely leave out. Last year was my senior in high school. He reclassified, by the way. So he was in the 12th grade when he was playing at Duke. So with that being said, him playing right now with this team, Ron, I'm just a huge fan of teams when they have their guy. And because when you got your guy, what that means is now we have a direction. All right, we can make a plan. We can formulate a plan. We can put a plan together of how we're going to build this thing. Cooper Flagg is that guy. I'm watching him on defense last night. When rotations, he was out of place in rotations, but he recovered, right? Guys are cutting back door. He doesn't really know what he's doing defensively, but he's so young, he's so athletic. He's good enough to recover and recognize what's on the floor where he can get back in space. We're talking about a kid who doesn't know what he's doing yet, and he's still figuring this out. And as he's figuring it out, we're seeing it right in front of us, real talk. We're seeing a guy that's becoming a better ball handler, a better distributor, right? A better scorer. Like he went down the lane and flushed on Joke last night this kid Jones. Flushed on him.
Oh, man.
Like this is a kid.
I think Flagg is so
that was
special.
An elite move too, by the way.
It was, yeah.
And it was right quick, Damian. It wasn't necessarily the dunk. It was how he got to the dunk. Came off a pick and roll, probed Jokic from the middle of the center of the court all the way to the right wing, hezzied him, blew by him, and it was the hezzy and blow by, and then go and finish.
He's putting moves together well. Like you know how you can just see a player act. he's getting. We gave Wemby a lot of credit for this in his rookie year, where it's like, oh my goodness, look how fast Wemby's getting better. But like Coop's not getting like Coop is graduating levels very quickly. Like it's like, oh, I was really bad. Now I'm not as bad. Now I'm kind of okay. Now I'm playing above average. Now I'm one of the 50 best players in the league. We've had that whole transition already in like 30 games.
He got that pace though. He got the strong
moves,
good pace.
Yeah.
He's not doing any extra moves. It's really straight to the point, and it's really at his own pace. It's really.
And Ox, it's those guys that excel at the pro level. Believe it or not, like, okay, you have your Kyries and you have your Jason Tatums, guys that can put together a flurry of moves and get off that way. But then you have your Kawhi Leonards, your LeBrons, your guys that are straight to the point, 2-3 dribbles, and KD as well, 2-3 dribbles, and I'm just getting to it. And he has that type of game.
He got that Paul Pierce pace for real.
But I think Flagg's so special, and I think he's going to be a guy where you're really going to have to watch the games to understand his full impact, because he has this rare combination of elite talent, but also intangibles. And when you pair those two things, you usually get a generational talent, like the defensive activity, the pressure on the rim, the mixing up his game. He does a lot that doesn't actually show up in the box score. Chill, there was a play in the fourth quarter where it broke down and he's on the other end of the court and he sprints back and he goes vertical at the rim. And he does it a few times. And if you don't watch the games, you won't understand the type of sort of engine he has and the intangible he does that doesn't show up on the box score. So some of this stuff's really, it's really interesting for such a talented prospect to do some of the dirty work. And he's going to be everything for the Mavs, man. He's going to be able to impose his will in so many different ways for this team. Should be very exciting for them.
Ron, they really miss that Denver unit. They really miss Gordon, because that is another big body that you could put on Cooper Flagg to not stop him, but slow him down. When you got a guy that's that big, that causes that much trouble, whether it's around the rim, whether it's in transition, to wear you down, I mean, that's going to affect Dallas's offense. And on defense, when you got a guy that's leaning on you like that, because I don't think that we give Aaron Gordon enough credit for the defender that he is. The job that I felt like he did on Jimmy Butler in the finals, I thought that was a damn good job. So if you put him out on the floor and you put him in front of Cooper Flagg, I'm just as big as you, I'm mobile, I'm physical. I think that he could have done a job. I think he could have done the job to possibly slow him down, take those looks that Cooper Flagg was getting, take those looks away from him. They really miss him. They really miss him.
That's a really good point, too. Definitely.
He makes their defense better, but I don't think that, especially how well Cooper Flagg is now operating off the ball. If there's anything, a 6'9", 250 guy would have a little bit harder of a time doing is like navigating screens. So I think Cooper just worked more off ball if Aaron Gordon was playing. But we also got to remember that PJ Washington didn't play for Dallas as well, who's a really good player. And the reason why I even brought up the Cooper Flagg situation in the beginning, Oxychill, is because this Dallas team, things are coming around, but it may just be a tad bit too late. As early in the season as we are, but like you start off the season that bad, you have to play some phenomenal basketball to like catch back up. And I wish they could have won some more games in their figuring it out stage, because we are seeing now like they're figuring some things out, and this is a pretty talented unit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Real talk. You don't get extra money or extra salary cap space, or you don't get a trophy for finishing number one in the conference. You get the respect, I guess, and you get admiration from the fans and all of that, and you get predicted to win the finals more. You get favored more, but you do get home court. You do get home court. But I mean, I'm saying though, like for
Anthony Davis,
for the Mavericks, they barely just at this point. Like, I think if you asked them, if you asked anybody, would you rather have home court? They would say yes. Would you rather be the number one seed? They would say yes. But would you take making the playoffs, whether it's the 8th seed, 6th seed, or 5th seed? Everybody's gonna say yes to that too, and they have plenty of time to still do that. Even if they get in as a 10th seed, okay, we win 2 games.
Ron, how many
win.
games is it
That's
going to
in
take
their
for
best
them to
interest
get
to be
How many
good this
games
year.
is it going to
I
take?
think that's 7.
How many games is it going to take for them to get in the playoffs? Like,
Chill. I
to
mean,
your point, Ron.
as of right now,
if you said the 10th seed, right? How many? Because last year I think the 8th seed won 48 games, right?
There's
last
51
year,
games left, y'all.
right? So, and these 51 games, I think they gotta. I think they gotta go. I think they gotta win 35 of the next 50 games
so chill.
to
Believe
get
it
in
or
that
not,
space.
They
They're
can get
happy
them
to
to
The more
play
important
in.
question is it in their best interest to be good?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the other
Absolutely.
thing.
Because if not,
you
if
dying
not,
with
are you
that
alluding
lead?
to them
they're
tanking?
going to be getting that pressure. If not, they're going to be
Well-
getting that pressure to trade Anthony Davis again, and that is a
No.
bad move. Trading
Chill.
Anthony Davis is a bad move.
They're
They can't-
half game out of the play right now.
Why is it a
is
bad
that
move to
move
trade
today?
Anthony
They-
That's
Davis?
7 games under 500. They're half.
Because
So
he's
they-
their best
So
player.
they don't have to win 35 of their next 50. They just have to win more than the teams ahead of them, which means they have to win more than Memphis, more than Portland, more than Golden State, more than Phoenix, more than Houston. I don't know. That's going to happen. More than Minnesota, Lakers, Denver, San Antonio.
Yeah, but
or,
Ben, look
you
at
know,
like
I'm not in.
they're still 7
I'm on the other
games
side of this.
below 500.
7 games
Irrelevant.
But that,
below
that
500.
doesn't matter.
That's
the record
not
doesn't matter.
irrelevant. You're
It only
trying to
matters
catch
against
these other
everybody
teams.
else. Right,
Well,
right.
you're-
Real
you're-
talk,
hold
real
on.
talk.
I'm
You're
in the
assuming
You don't-
that these other teams are trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Real talk, and these teams are trending in the wrong direction. A lot of these
I
teams
mean,
ahead
I think
of you
they
are going
can
in the
definitely
wrong
get in the
direction.
play-in. They can definitely get in the play-in, right? But I'm saying, like, if I would feel much better if I'm the Mavs, if I'm kind of competing for the 6-5 seed, because I know Ox and y'all and Ron finna disagree. Like, I'm not trying to get a playoff, scratch in the play-in, right, to then play OKC in the first round. Like that, nobody's like wanting to.
That's
do
what I'm
would you
that.
not want
saying. It's
Cooper
not.
Flagg
Why
to
not?
get
What
early
if
playoff
in their best
Flag-
interest to actually be good?
Why would you not want Cooper Flagg to get early playoff experience? 19 years
Against-
old, put him in.
Oh, you do want him to do that.
Experience.
Sure,
You're
sure.
talking
But
OKC,
to
there's no point.
Damien's point, though, if I'm going to be, I'd rather be bad and just have a better pick.
What happened last year?
Mhm.
Like,
They were hold up. What happened last year? They were in the play-in. They were in the
Yep.
play-in.
and they were
got
the
knocked
10th
out of the
seed,
play-in.
by the way.
They were the 10th seed. They got knocked out. They got the number 1 seed. So look, man, like with the NBA
Yeah,
working
that
out
was
to
in the
flatten
Olympic
lottery
year.
odds,
They
and
said-
yes,
that's-
of course,
that's-
you're not
it's
you're not
probably
asking for
unlimited.
lightning to strike in the same place twice, but let's not pretend this team hasn't done this before. Okay,
I mean, but
I
I would
think-
be asking for lightning strike.
That's exactly
Like,
what you asking for. What happened last
But the
year? to happen
alternate,
again.
but the alternate universe is this. The alternate universe is this. You sell high on AD. Kyrie comes back. Maybe you sell high on Kyrie. Maybe you sell high on some of these role players who have pretty good skill sets for some of these other contenders. Maybe you bottom out a little bit, and then you pair Cooper Flagg with another guy that you can spend the next 10 years trying to build something with them. Because I'm gonna be
So,
honest
Damien,
with
you
you
wanna
guys.
start over?
AD's incredible.
Damien, you wanna
No,
start
but
over?
AD's incredible. AD's incredible. But you're not winning him with your best player.
Asset
You're not winning
management,
anything with him as your best
Damien.
player right now. I'm sorry.
No,
It's-
asset
now, I
management
understand what
is
you're
important
saying.
here.
I understand what you're saying, but you don't
You're
have
not
a
winning
player
anything with
like
Anthony
Cooper
Davis as your
Flagg
best.
playing this well. He's playing this well. You have Anthony Davis. You know he's playing well
Getting
right
back-
now as
getting
well.
back to
And
it.
you do
Getting
not
back to it.
you do not tank with the player like this. You can't put that on a rookie player like Cooper Flagg. When you got a guy like Cooper Flagg, you compete. You compete and you compete. You got Kyrie Irving. Let's say Kyrie Irving comes back in the next month and a half, whatever. I don't know. Whenever he comes back, and Anthony Davis, who is still one of the top 10 players in the NBA. You compete. It's there's no reason at all to.
He can
talking
compete
about,
on a bad team.
No. I'm talking about as a team. I'm not talking about what sent Anthony Davis wanted to compete. I'm talking about. You're talking about Cooper Flagg competing on the back. No. See, but that's my thing, Damien. This team, I believe already. I've said it before. When this team is healthy, they're contenders. They
can make some
absolutely
noise. They
contenders.
can make some noise.
So there's no reason to assume that you can't make a good run. And now I understand what you guys are saying. If you get the 10th or 9th seed, the best you can do is the 8th seed and play OKC first round. I think you need that. Like obviously you want to get that 6th seed. You want that 6. You possibly want the 7. But if you get the 8th seed, And you take it to them. Now you go right up the street to Oklahoma City and you see what you can do. Now
Exactly.
I know y'all don't believe that they can compete with OKC. I think they can compete. I don't know if they can beat them.
Who all thinks that they can compete with OKC? Can I just get everybody's show of hands?
I do.
With Kyrie Irving? Absolutely, Ron.
They
Absolutely.
What
will
does
beat them.
competing mean?
With
Gentlemen
the
sweep?
size they have,
What does
they'll give them
competing
a
mean?
series for sure.
Losing 6.
They'll give them a series. I just think, like, you give Cooper Flagg, listen, will they make the playoffs this year? Who knows? But if you do get in, yeah, they're going to lose to OKC in 5-6 games. Who cares? You let Cooper Flagg get the ball with 30 seconds left with the game on the line in like a game 4. That is great experience for him to have for when you're ready to contend in a year or two down the line. He already has that in him. So I think, again, you have Kyrie.
But he's 19. He's going to get.
He's going to get that anyway. That is so overrated. If the alternative is be bad and get a potential another first round pick that can.
Why we even have these dudes on the floor then? Then why even have Anthony Davis?
Yeah, might as well just sell the house. Sell the floor.
That's what me and Damian are saying.
Sell the floor. Sell everyone there.
We're saying you should trade AD. You got off to too bad of a start. You just did.
That's not true. They're 12-19 with 51 games left.
I'm not talking about to be in the play-in. I'm talking about to actually. If the Mavericks wanted to make a good, like a deep playoff run,
I had them in the Western Conference Championship.
I
had them in the Western Conference
Championship. I got you. There was a pathway. Yes, there was. If everything went right, they were hovering around somewhere from the 3 to 6 seed or something like that.
They're 5 games behind the Rockets. Real talk. They're 5 games behind the Rockets in the 6 seed. 5
they're like 3.5 out of the 8.
Well, okay,
like,
that's 7 games.
But
7 games, but
they're in the basement.
5 wins away from them. There's 7 games behind.
But does no one here thinks they're going to be in the top 6, right?
Why not? There's 51. There's 51 games left to play.
Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving in 2025.
Anything that's good.
Damian. They're 50.
Anything
They're
that's
51.
good.
There's 51 games. The Houston Rockets just lost to the Clippers. So they can clearly lose games. The Dallas Mavericks just beat the Nuggets, so they can clearly win games. Then you got 51 games left to catch the Rockets.
Like, what is this?
Why do you not?
I don't look at
Ox makes a really good point.
I don't think they're going to do it. I really
here's the thing, real talk, because Ox makes a really good point. Because where we started, we definitely started bad, and any of you guys know. Yeah, I was high on Dallas before the season started. I had them at the 4th seed.
I was as well.
I had them losing to the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. That's where I had them at. However, if we're looking at the
best team in Texas,
if we're looking at the standings right now, right? So as of right now, they're 12-19, right? 12-19. What's realistic for us? We got 51 games left in the regular season. We're 7.5 games. We're 7 games behind the Rockets. Can we catch Phoenix? Can we catch Golden State? Can we catch Memphis? Can we catch these teams? Like, don't get me wrong, they have to go in the tank. We gotta start rolling, and they gotta go in the tank. But is it realistic to think that in the Western Conference we could catch Phoenix? We can go on a roll and we could catch Golden State. Yes, I think it's realistic to think that we could catch Phoenix.
I think you need to bluff the league, Joe. But it says no. You need to bluff the league. Look, they're 7th. In the league right now, they in terms of strength of schedule, they have to face the OKC Thunder once. They have to face the Spurs 3 times. They have to face the Denver Nuggets twice. They have to face. They also have to face the Knicks,
who we already beat. We just beat
them. They're basically in the Western Conference.
No,
that's
they have
what
to face.
No,
hang on, because there's a difference between being in the West and we already got our games against OKC and San Antonio out of the way versus. We still have to play those teams. And
that's what I'm saying, Penn. When you're in the West, you have to play these teams.
Yes, but there's a difference between we're 12-19 and we already played them, and we're 12-19 and we got to play them next week.
Have to play
you understand what I'm saying? So listen, like I think they canvassed the league and they looked around and they said, you know, what can we get for Anthony Davis? And I don't think they like what they heard. I think they canvassed the league and tried to figure out what they can get Daniel Gafford. I don't think they like what they heard because everybody knows they got to sell right now. So do the right thing. Do the right thing, as Spike Lee said, do the right thing and go and pretend like you don't have to do this. Pretend that you have options. Even if you don't really have options, pretend you have options. Be like that dude in poker who got a 2 and a 4 and just act like you got some aces in your hand and just be like, okay, Y'all don't want to give us what we want for Anthony Davis. Y'all don't want to give us a couple first round picks for Daniel Gafford. We're going to go make the playoffs. You have a much better leverage in terms of negotiating at the trade deadline if you are 9th in the West than if you're 12th in the West and everybody knows you're out of it. It's very hard to negotiate a trading position for your assets from the bottom. I will also mention we've had an entire conversation about the Dallas Mavericks potentially making the playoffs and being good. We haven't talked about Derek Lively missing the entire year. That dude is very good, and he is very important. The fact that he is out for the season makes a major case for what Damian is saying being right. But that being said, you cannot just go like, you ever sell a house? You ever sell your house?
Wait a minute, though.
You ever walk around the street saying, someone please take my house, someone please take my house? No one's going to take your house if you walk like that.
Well, wait a
I'm
minute.
gonna wake up tomorrow.
Just have some nuts. Just have some nuts and compete.
Bro, like, you can't just be walking around like my house is haunted. Please take my house.
I've sold many a house.
That doesn't. You talking about it would be if Anthony Davis continues to play like this through till the trade deadline. If a team feels like they're an Anthony Davis away from competing for a title, trust and believe they'll still give up whatever needs to be done to get Anthony Davis if they believe that's going to lead to a championship. That's number one. Number two, this is just math at this point. To be a around a top six seed in the West, we all agree you need around 50 wins, right? Which means you have 32 games to lose in a season. The Dallas Mavericks have already lost 19. Meaning what? They have to win 38 of their remaining 51 games to get to a 50-win total.
Wow.
That is highly unlikely at this point. That's why I'm saying you wasted time experimenting with Coop at point guard. You gave up your chance to compete because you screwed around being idiotic, in my opinion. I'm sorry. That point guard rep stuff.
Point guard is Anthony Davis being hurt. It's Anthony Davis being hurt. Point guard.
Damian, after this take, Damian, we got
5 games behind the Phoenix Suns. 5 games.
We gotta move on, fellas. After this take, Damian, we gotta move on.
Behind the Phoenix Suns.
Look, but man, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow on Boxing Day. Anthony Davis's value is getting lower. I'm gonna wake up on Christmas Day. His value is getting lower. Kyrie Irving's got an ACL. Anthony Davis is 32. He's making $54 million this year. He's making $58 million next year. Like, if we're not competing for a title this year, I'm selling. Their value is not getting higher. It's getting lower. Klay Thompson, the same thing. Derek Lively's out the whole year. I think it makes a lot of sense to try and pair Cooper Flagg with another top 5 pick for the next 10 years.
I'm just with Ox on this, and I believe, well, I'm not doing this because I'm ducking an 8 seed OKC Thunder. Hey, them niggas can get popped the same way we popped the Denver Nuggets last night, the same way we'll pop the Houston Rockets, the same way Wemby can come over here and get it too. That's just how I feel. But we're going to go ahead and move on, fellas, because I got to talk to you about a Christmas special that we're doing teamed up with Splash Sports. $10,000, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, 10 large under your Christmas tree for a Christmas Day Tears event, contest, extravaganza with Splash Sports. Now, first, you got to download the app. You can do that by clicking the link in the bio or scanning this QR code. And then Christmas Day comes around and everything's going to be so wonderful, special. It's going to feel like Winter Wonderland for all the NBA hoop fans. Now, here's what you're going to do in order to get that $10,000 payout delivered to you on a silver platter by St. Nicholas. Here's how it works. You will select one player from each of the 6 tiers, all based on projected fantasy points for the Christmas Day slates. There's no positional requirements. You can run all guards. You can run all bigs. You can mix it up however you want to. You just got to choose 2 different players from 2 different teams at least. And then your players rack up their fantasy points throughout the games. And at the end of the day, the person with the highest score wins it all. But the beautiful thing about it is there's multiple winners. So you don't just got to come in first place. You don't just got to come in second place. You don't just got to come in third place. There is a ton of money that will be dished out on Christmas Day. So download the app, enter the contest, jump in the Splash Sports Winners Circle, and we will see who really, truly, definitely knows ball. And as of right now, let's have some fun with the quick picks on Splash Sports. Big Ox, what you got for us, player?
Well, seeing as these are all Christmas games we're going to be picking from, I figured let's just share some holiday cheer. Who wants to go first? Damien, since it's already Christmas for you, why don't you make a first quick pick?
I'm going to take my man, Jalen Brunson. He's been on a tear on the more, please.
Okay. He's a game time decision, but we'll still take it just in case. Moore against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 29.5 points. He's going to kill Darius Garland. Real talk? Somebody?
Just
I'm sorry about
by the
Khalil
way,
yesterday, yo. My bad.
I'm batting 1,000 on these so far, Ox, because that Conker nipple 18.5 green.
Oh, yeah, we did our thing that day, real talk. Ron sold us.
Oh, Ron Soda, of course.
What? What
Let's go to rebounds. Go to rebounds and see if Steven Adams is there and just hit the over. It doesn't matter what the number is. See if Steven Adams rebounds.
Nope.
Should absolutely matter.
Hey, do you see how the stuff I be wanting don't be on the board, Ron? I be cooking, man. Let me see.
They got Nikola Jokic right here with 11.5. I'm sure he can.
That's against Minnesota, though. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Take my points over on my boy Ant. Yeah, we finna show out. We finna show out. Top 5 in the league.
28.5.
Yep.
More.
Ox,
Easy work.
Ox, what's the? Let me take a look at Rudy and those rebounds again.
Oh, I think it was 10.5.
10.5. Rudy
taking the Grinch on Christmas. Holy.
Yes, sir. The reason why I'm saying that because I think Rudy over his last 10 games he's averaging like 14 rebounds. So I'm taking the more on Rudy against Denver. Yeah.
Right on. Pin?
Mm-hmm.
Who is somebody who would be liable to give us a very good Christmas game? Where's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? What's he at right now?
You want points?
Let's see. Where's he at? Is he at 30
Of course
and a
he
half?
wants points. You know Penn shallow.
32.5.
Oh, damn. They set the line that high?
I mean, Foxy's first Christmas game right here for 17.5. You know he's about to get that.
I don't know.
Where's Steph Castle at? He 13 and a half? No.
16.
16 and a half? I'll take that. I'll take that action. 16 and a half, yeah.
Okay.
Steph Curry is known to be boo-boo cheese on Christmas, by the way.
Boo-boo cheese is heat.
He is known to be boo-boo cheese on Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, Ox, put 1,000 on it.
Is that what we're saying? He's true.
All right. What you got, Casual?
I didn't know if I was part of this segment or not. Listen, I don't gamble anymore, but I used to.
Well, nobody does. This is not that.
I used to target bad defenses. So, listen, the Lakers' defense is atrocious. I would take KD over.
KD
smart.
for more than 20.
They got Vegas is already betting on that 24.5.
Jeez.
Oof.
Yes,
So I'd still
the
take it.
lines do adjust.
Man, you fellas, y'all got to really work on your terminology for these segments.
Oh, well, Ox, the only thing that everybody in the chat needs to know is that we are all in the winner's circle, especially when we send this contest through. Chat, let us know if you like our picks. Let us know if you hate our picks. Let us know if you're using our picks, or let us know what you're doing for Christmas. Either way it goes, happy, jolly, Merry Christmas to everybody, and I hope you guys either win that 10K or win your quick picks. All right, fellas, we have talked about the NBA doing all types of basically new ideas and proposed brainstorming measures to limit tanking. So this is what they're saying that they can do. And I want you guys to talk to me about what you like and what you don't like. The first, and this is reported by Shams. The first thing is they will be limiting pick protections to either top 4 or 14 and higher. So you can only protect the top 4 picks, or you can only protect picks from 14 to 30. Also, they will no longer be allowing a team to draft in the top 4 2 years in a row. So you can tank if you like. You just can't get a top 4 pick 2 years in a row.
That's stupid.
And last but not least, they will be locking in lottery positions after March 1st. How do we feel about this?
So Damien and Real Talk talking about tanking the Mavericks, y'all just have no integrity.
Yeah, but see, hey Damian, you know how we're still right? It's because
Why do we act like the best players are only in the top 4 picks, though?
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Damian. Especially
Because
in
they
this
are.
draft
That's why.
class.
They
Especially
Because
in
they
this
are.
draft class.
That's why.
Especially in this draft class, when this is reportedly one of the more talented draft classes ever. So I can still get
the one that just
great
happened, or the
pick
one
at
coming
7.
up. Real talk.
No, the one that's about to happen.
Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
For every Paul Pierce that's picked at 10, right? For every Steph Curry that's picked at 7 or 8, there's
Johnny Flynn's all over the place.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on.
This isn't the NFL. You're not going to get the greatest show on turf at pick 20. Usually the best guys are 1, 2, and 3.
That's always been true, though.
And then you're just like you're getting real lucky. Like if you hit a guy,
you have to bring Johnny Flynn into this stuff, man. I could have left Johnny.
Yes,
in
and Johnny, I know how you feel about. I know how you feel about him.
The expected value of a number 1 pick is considerably higher than all other picks, but the expected value of the 3rd pick is actually higher than the 2nd pick. The 13th pick is typically, historically, better than the 11th pick. So there is a little bit of like, it's not a flat line. It kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. And of course, you know, number 3 is getting elevated a lot because Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the 3rd overall pick, and number 1 might be getting depressed a little bit, or number 2 might be getting depressed a little bit because Len Bias passed away. You know, there's a lot of things, you know, that go into this, but let's just not pretend that James Wiseman wasn't a number 2 pick. Let's not pretend Michael Olowokandi didn't go number 1. Let's not pretend that Darko Milicic didn't go number 2. Let's not pretend that these things didn't happen.
1.
The expected value of a pick has to matter here, though. That it's not a guarantee you have the number 1 pick, it's going to work out. It might not work out. And it's not a guarantee that you have the number 15 pick, we can't get a star because you got Kawhi Leonard and you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like if you actually go through the history of the 13th overall pick, you realize Kobe Bryant, Devin Booker, and Donovan Mitchell were all 13th overall picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's in your lifetime. That's in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So, you hear that? You scrolling on your phone. You're not looking in curious intellectually. You're not looking curious. So
I'm plenty intellectually curious.
Are you low managing this show?
Listening to you.
Nah,
Could it potentially be the jersey?
Nah, chill out, Ron. Chill out. Don't play like that. Tell KD you better get it back in blood. I told y'all about that. He be cooking KD ass every time they see. Anyways, let's stay focused.
We'll get to that game in a second, but Penn, are we potentially overthinking this? Because, like, obviously, well, I don't want to say obviously, but if I can offer any of you guys' franchise forever a top 3 pick, or if I offered you guys a top 10 pick, you would take the top 3 pick. Like everybody wants the higher pick.
You should. I think it's a good thing. First of all, it sucks that the best players in our sport have to spend the first 7 or 8 years typically with a really, really bad team. That's not good. That's not good because those teams ended up there for a reason. This is like saying that every single year we have like this amazing company and we're going to give it to the most broke human being in America every single year. Like, oh, you got bad credit, no credit, come on down. Here's a great Fortune 500 for you to manage. Like, why the hell am I letting you manage a Fortune 500 if you got bad credit? Like, maybe you got bad credit for a reason because you make bad decisions. Do I necessarily think that Trey Johnson is better off in Washington, or would I rather he be in OKC? I'd rather he be in OKC for real. Like, because as somebody who's watched Trey Johnson for the last 2 years,
I don't.
Why?
Because I don't like when the rich just get richer. Why should the best players in the draft always go to the best team?
It's not about the rich getting richer. It's casual. But do you ever think about the hand that terrible franchises play in ruining careers?
That's the part about sports. It's in every single league, from the baseball to the NFL, that they got bad ownership. That look at the NFL draft. It's always the Jags and the Browns at the top. But why should I want the best players in the draft going to Kansas City every year? That's bad for
the reason why. Because you don't want the reason why to your point, Penn. The reason why is because I don't want the Clippers to ruin this kid, which is what they'll do. The reason why I'd want this because I don't want whoever they are, they're gonna ruin this kid. I know that I know for a fact that if Oklahoma City ends up bagging a number 1 or a number 2 pick, they're gonna take way better care of this guy than if he ended up with the Clippers. They're gonna ruin him. They're going to wreck this guy. So I do want, in that particular situation, I 100% want the rich to stay rich because I know that he's going to take way better care of this guy than this team is. 100% I want that. I don't want to see AJ DeBonsta with the Clippers. They're going to wreck him.
All right,
They're going to ruin him.
Let's just have
But
like
hang on, because there's a second part of this. There's a second part of these rules. Okay, there's a second part of these rules, which is the cap. Okay, and it's impossible to have 4 max players, 5 max players, whatever. So if AJ DeBonsa does go to OKC, well, inevitably that means that J Dub or Chet are eventually going to get moved off. That AJ Mitchell is going to be priced out. That Cason Wallace. Look, if you want to look at it this way, players are most impressionable, in my opinion, between the ages of 13 and 25. That is where I want them with good trainers. That is where I want them with good high school programs, good AAU programs. I want them with good people. I want them in good. I want them with good agents. I want them in good pro programs. Problem is, sometimes you get to the league and you got a team that's supposedly a professional basketball team that's using an NFL medical staff. I don't disagree with you
on the notion that it's better for the players if they end up in better organizations. I believe that in any sport. But how is this good for the league overall as far as competitive standpoint on how like these teams were bad, they need better players?
I'll take your situation. I'll raise your situation. Let's say you're the Washington Wizards, right? And let's say you didn't get a great player because you don't know how to develop one, you don't know how to find one, and you certainly wouldn't know how to train one. So let's just say you get a bad player in your draft, but I'm the OKC Thunder and I keep getting great players. Let's say I got this guy Thomas Sorber and he's amazing, but I can't sign him. I got Cason Wallace, he's one of the best guard defenders, but I can't pay him. Guess what? After 4 years, he's a restricted free agent. Guess what you got? Because you don't have anyone to pay. You have money.
After 4 years, is not going to be the face of my franchise. Like if you're a Washington Wizard, you need a face of the franchise at the top 3.
But you have clearly shown yourself inept to number one. How many times have we seen Zion Williamson? Zion Williamson's a great example. What the hell was the hope level on Zion Williamson? I'll guarantee you it's just about as high as the hope level on Cooper Flagg right now, right? I like the Coopers with Jason Kidd. You know why? Because I trust Jason Kidd.
But AD got his heights in New Orleans, though.
Well, and you didn't care, by the way. Real talk, you didn't care. He was 28 and 10. He was 28 and 10, and one of the best. I didn't care. The best, arguably the best defensive player in the game. 28 and 10, and they were actually in the playoffs, and they were losing to the Golden State Warriors. And you know what? You didn't care. And I don't mean you.
How are you telling?
This is called.
Okay, so what do you mean by that though? Like you didn't.
What I mean by that is to answer Casual's question. Casual, you talk about the competitive spirit and you talk about the parity in the league. When the New Orleans Pelicans is in the playoffs, people don't care nearly as much as when the Knicks are in the playoffs, or when the Lakers are in the playoffs, or when the Celtics are in the playoffs, or when the Miami Heat are in the playoffs. They don't care. You say that you care about the underdog, but when the underdog is there, you ain't watching.
But that's not how you design a league.
But what happens? What happens when Detroit doesn't?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't we just have like an 8-team league then? That's not how you design a league. Like, might as well just cut all of them out.
But Casual, the cap makes it so that you can't do that. Like what I was saying with the Washington example is at some point.
Well, there's no guarantee that I'm going to get the best. Like, so that's why
Tracy
we
McGrady
give him a draft.
The Raptors to go be the face of the franchise of Orlando.
You keep talking about, they can do it in free agency. That's a lie because the free agents, I don't have the rights to Kevin Durant if he hits the market.
How did Houston get James Harden, dude?
Because he's a free agent. You know who I have the rights to? A Cooper Flagg, a Con Kneppel. If I draft him, they can't pick where they can go.
Then you're going to lose him. But then you're going to lose him.
This is
it's better to have loved and lost than to not love it all, right?
How did Houston get James Harden?
I was going to get you on my side.
How did Houston get James Harden?
But what happens when Detroit?
Because OKC didn't want to pay into the tax.
Perfect. How did Orlando get Tracy McGrady?
Yes, they could have.
Those guys were in MVP talks, yo. So if you want to talk about you can't get the face of your franchise, well,
all right, I have a higher odds of getting my face of the franchise in the draft than via trade.
Actually,
a bad team.
Okay.
That part I could get with Casual. Yes.
You don't as a league.
That part Casual, yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
As a league or as an overall system, you don't offer assistance based off the result. You offer the assistance to help and assist. And it is upon let's take it like to a school setting, right? If I'm a school and I offer free tutoring to everybody, right? Let's say to my lesser students, to the bad students, I offer free tutoring to all the bad students, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to offer it to all the bad students, even though yes, some people are going to take advantage of it and some people aren't. But I don't then say, oh, student that isn't taking advantage of it. Oh, we have students that aren't taking advantage of it. So I'm just going to cut it off completely or just access it for the ones who do well with it. That's not how you run assistance. You do assistance by offering it to the public and you let whoever takes advantage of it take advantage of it. That's how assistance works.
Yes.
So the reason why the bad teams get the top picks is because those teams are bad and they need assistance. They need good players. So it is upon.
That's
so whether if you're, I'm going to give you the number 1 to number 3 pick or whatever. If you're Charlotte, yes, you may not manage that asset correctly, but because
you had the opportunity,
because you exist doesn't mean now I have to cut off the assistance. That's not how that works.
You shouldn't be
incentivizing being bad.
I think you make a valid point with that. But with those schools and now what you offering that tutoring, what's going to ultimately happen is that the bad students who end up taking it and they get better, guess what's going to happen? Other schools are going to see that. Bigger schools are going to see that. And now those kids that are going to your school, now they're going to go to better schools. So all you doing is tuning these kids up to go somewhere else and be productive and be better.
Right,
and that's
so
what's going on in the
like
league. So a guy like and don't get me wrong, Casual, I think it sucks. I do. I think it sucks because I think Minnesota, I think they're going to ultimately lose Anthony Edwards at some point. I think he's going to end up in a bigger market. I do. I ultimately think that they're going to end up losing him because he's going to end up outgrowing Minnesota, just like James outgrew Cleveland. I would have loved to have seen James stay in Cleveland. I would have loved to have seen James finish his career in Cleveland, but he ended up outgrowing it, just like Anthony Edwards is going to ultimately end up outgrowing Minnesota. With that being said, if you have an opportunity to draft, I would much rather see you get drafted to somebody that I know is going to take care of you, that I know has a good developmental system, that I know they're going to be good and they're going to take care of you and you're going to turn into that player that we think that you can be, as opposed to these teams where we know for a fact, because of your history, you are going to ruin this kid.
Then what do we do with the bad teams, though? Like, if you don't give them a chance to get better, like what Real Talk is saying, then that's going to be really bad for the league overall. It's going to make half the league unwatchable if we don't. It's better. Yes, it's better for the players if they go to a great situation. But for the league as a whole, you need these bad teams to be better, or else it starts affecting the entire product. Now OKC is going to be facing the bottom of the barrel, like G League teams, for half of the season. That's like 40 games. So if
Casual, you don't care about what's going on in the show.
But this is called player's choice. This is not organization choice. It's not owner's choice. This is player's choice. And as a player's choice, I would assume this would be the one platform that would be thinking players first. Look, man, every single time I see a player as talented as AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer, I see $500 million. That's what I see. I see $500 million going into enterprise into this player that they can one day potentially become a future billionaire in America. This is what I see. And within that social change, there is a bigger conversation to be had about what these players represent to their communities, to their cities, to their states, what they could do for basketball for the next generation in their state. Look at what LeBron has done for Akron. Look at what LeBron has done for the state of Ohio. Every one of these players. So every single time one of these bullshit ass franchises takes one of these players and sits them, doesn't develop them, gets them injured, overplays them, underplays them, mismanages them, makes them homesick, whatever the hell it is, I see that money just go away. It just goes away, and it never comes back.
You just mentioned LeBron, though. The Cleveland Cavaliers were terrible before
LeBron.
They were terrible after LeBron.
Was going to be successful anywhere.
But Penn, here's the thing, though.
Bilal Coulibaly is not LeBron James.
Chris Paul was an exception. He went to the Charlotte Hornets. They were not good before him. They're not good after him. Dwight Howard was an exception.
Yes, they
I can list off all of these guys.
John
Wall went to the Washington Wizards. John Wall was an exception. No, chill. What I'm saying is these guys are exceptions no matter what. Like when you get these top picks, a lot of these guys are exceptions. John Wall was an exception. We can run down a ton of number one picks. Yes, some of them busted. But we've seen guys go to good franchises and not be good. We've seen a shit ton of guys go to terrible franchises and become $500 million guys.
We don't even have to go to past history. Many right now, especially after trading Luka Doncic, would deem Dallas a horrible franchise. But Cooper Flagg, the number one pick, has come in, and even on a bad franchise, he's improved tremendously just within the year because he's that good. He's Cooper Flagg.
Real talk.
And how
They're
you
not a
turn
bad
team
franchise.
How about the
around.
number one
Real,
team in the East
real
right
talk.
now?
Okay, but hold on.
So people,
Hold on.
wait. Run. Let him answer this question. So, Penn, you're telling me that people wouldn't say the Dallas Mavericks were a bad franchise heading into the season?
I don't care what people say.
Okay, what
I
do you
care
say?
what
What
I
do you
say.
think?
And what I'm telling you is
and
this
you
team
said
just went
that
to the
trading
finals
Luka
2
Doncic
years ago.
is the worst trade of all time. That's what you said.
So
Well, okay,
what the
so
hell
what
does-
organization did that?
Dan
Well,
Gilbert is also terrible. That
let's
doesn't change your training staff. That doesn't even change your medical staff. That doesn't change your coaching staff. Jason Kidd is a fantastic
No, it does
coach.
not.
If there's
Penn,
any
let's double
coach-
down on it.
What-
Penn,
what-
let's double down on it. Let's
Okay.
even forget Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks. You don't think that's a bad franchise? I know a bad franchise with a guy that I know you love right now, and you would love to have him in Toronto because he is a good player, but he got drafted to a bad franchise. Yet, however, he's balling right now. He was leading the Rookie of the Year race just a couple weeks ago in Charlotte. Con Knippel.
Okay. What about it?
Have they wrecked him? Have they ruined him?
No, because you know what happened? Con Knippel, Ryan Cockbrenner, Zion James, these guys, they all walked in and they changed the culture. They changed that culture.
y'all.
No.
Oh,
Hang on. No.
Why you
no,
saying
no,
that?
Isn't that the
Don't-
point,
why-
man?
don't
like,
Don't
like,
you want
a
these
player
guys
can't
to
come in
They
and change the
drafted
coaches
those
on?
dudes.
Are you
They
serious
drafted
right
those
now?
dudes. Are you
Penn
kidding me right now?
just
They're
said,
winning.
chill. Are you out? You
Just
guys
like-
just told
Okay,
me
isn't that the
that these
point?
guys can't go to franchises like Charlotte because they will get ruined. Now,
Hold
all
on.
of a sudden, in
Did
30
Charlotte
games,
hire
hold on, time out.
Charles Lee?
In 30 games, you mean to tell me Zion James, Ryan Kalkbrenner, a second pick, Con Knippel, a guy who people weren't even all that high on, went to Charlotte and said, you know what,
He wasn't
LaMelo,
high on.
Brandon Miller, Miles Turner, or Miles Bridges, you guys sit down and listen to this because now we're the franchise and we're changing this whole thing.
Well,
You mean to
based
tell me that happened from those three guys?
It happened
Or-
because the coaching staff allowed it, and because Charles Lee is a damn good coach, and anyone who has watched that dude slowly progress there. Look, man, Jordy Fernandez is a good coach. I've been up here telling y'all for years Jordy Fernandez is a good coach, and now the Brooklyn Nets are actually playing good basketball. They knocked off the Raptors. They knocked off the Philadelphia 76ers. Charlotte is much better this year. And by the way, it's very easy to take over leadership when there are no leaders. LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, no offense. You're not leaders. So Con Knippel and Zion James coming in from Duke, they could just take over. And they have set a good standard for
But
work ethic,
that comes with
communication.
being a bad
and-
team that's drafting at the top.
That's
of
the point we're
draft.
making.
That's why you draft the
Exactly.
players.
That's the point,
That's
though.
why you get the
Exactly.
players.
Bad and good are not they are not static concepts. They are fluid concepts. It is possible for a team that has a great development coach to lose that development coach and no longer be a great development team. It's possible. It's also possible for a historically trash franchise like I don't know, Charlotte to hire a good coach, or Brooklyn to hire a good coach and suddenly be a good place. I don't think I had any problems with some of my favorite draft picks going to Brooklyn because I trust Jordy. And I don't have any problem with Con Knippel going to Charlotte because I trust Charles Lee. And I trust Darko Rakovic. I trust there's a lot of coaches in this league that I do trust. There's organizations that I trust more than others.
And Ron wants to completely leave out what the history of this franchise has shown us. I ain't even talking about Charlotte. I'm talking about all of these franchises, whether it's good, bad, or in the middle. What they've shown us in terms of development. More times than not, when you watch the Charlotte Hornets, what have they done with their talent? I can tell you right now what they haven't done with it. They haven't turned it into what it should have been. This right now, what's going on with this influx of talent that they have, it looks great. Now, can they continue to do this? That remains to be seen. But what we've seen in the past from the Charlotte Hornets, it is a wasteland. You go there to die. They are going to wreck you. That's why I would much rather, if this kid that plays for Kansas, Peterson, if he ends up in Oklahoma City, or if he ends up with not even Oklahoma City, that's a bit of a stretch. I'm not going to do that casual. But if he ends up in like Dallas somewhere, or maybe even Utah, because Utah looks like they're trying to do something with their franchise, right? It looks like they have a plan. If he ends up somewhere where they're trying to develop him, as opposed to they're just going to completely wreck him. Like what's going on in Charlotte, I would much rather see him somewhere where he's going to turn it that we would like to see.
We're not
Chill out.
talking about what we would rather.
Who did Charlotte ruin, by the way?
No, keep
that-
going, real
that-
talk.
that-
Keep going.
I know. I'm saying like
Who did Charlotte ruin?
I'm even like,
Who did Charlotte ruin? Or have they just not hit on a
Who did
franchise
Charlotte?
cornerstone?
Well,
Did they
wait,
ruin
Damien,
them?
I can answer that question for you right now, Damien, with what I'm about to tell y'all. And this is not foreign. I don't understand why you guys are doing this. Maybe it's because Penn did that whole this is player's choice. We got to worry about the player first. What about the player? Y'all keep talking about these franchises ruining players when all players aren't created equal. Y'all are making it seem like y'all are not talking about the other part of this. What about the players that ain't showing up to workouts until they 30 minutes late? What about the dudes that aren't taking it serious too? What about that part of this? This whole conversation is a good conversation, but you have to also take into account that everybody doesn't want to get better. Everybody doesn't know how to get better. Everybody isn't just going to.
But Ox, ain't that your job to find out who these guys are before you draft them? Ain't that your job to find out who these guys are?
You know better than that. You know better than that.
Culture.
Like, look at Golden State. Weren't they in the lottery for like 3 straight years? We know who they drafted. Like, what is Kuminga? What is Wiseman? Look at all these guys. These guys have definitely just improved so much for being in a great Golden State system.
Right. Thank you. Kuminga, James Wiseman. They had to get James Wiseman out of there so fast.
Bad teams can't be incentivized. Or it's not incentivized for losing, but bad teams can't be, being lifted up. It's just like in anything. Like, bro, if you help, people in the country get smarter or people in the country make more money, that's better for the overall of the country. It's just like, in the NBA, it's better for the overall of the league if we help these bad teams out just so we can have a more competitive league and more parity. It's bad it would be if we just make Los Angeles get the #1 pick every year. The team that can always get the top free agent because it's Los Angeles, the team that will always make the most money because they're in the biggest market and have the most fans. And now they get the #1 pick every year. That is terrible for the league.
But that's not how the system is structured.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all, Casual.
But you're taking it to an extreme to win the point. And Casual, no one is saying that every great player needs to go to OKC. Everyone's not saying every top pick got to go to San Antonio. What we're saying is, can we do something about incentivizing teams being bad to the point where teams are going out and deliberately being bad year over year, knowing that there's this nice first round pick waiting for them? I will tell you this right now.
Love
the
tanking.
actual value. No, I don't love tanking, Ox. I do not love tanking, Ox. I think strategically sometimes it is wise to do so. And do you know why it's wise to do so? Because that #1 overall pick, when it hits, i.e. Cooper Flagg, when it hits, i.e. Victor Wembanyama, when it hits, i.e. Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, sure. When it hits, that is like you got a $70-60 million asset tied up on $12 to $13 million. In terms of building out a competitive roster around that player, just like really just hitting anywhere in the first round, it is a crazy advantage for those first 4 years, and you better not waste it. Especially if you got a guy like Cooper Flagg who's showing you he's ready to compete right away. So what I'm saying is the incentive to do so is always there. I think from the league perspective, it's probably not the greatest thing where teams are sitting healthy stars in January and basically screwing the fans over. I mean, there is somebody out there who probably can afford to go to 1 or 2 sporting events a year.
And there will be no fans of Charlotte if you don't let them at least get the #1 pick. There will be no fans of New Orleans if you don't let them think they can get a top 5 pick.
Who cares?
Zion.
Who cares?
Who cares? Well, then what? Just get rid of the franchises?
No.
You want to just subtract the bad?
We're going to be out of a job.
The thinking is so small here about thinking about Charlotte and New Orleans. I'm thinking about the league.
That's the league. That's the league. Clearly not thinking about the league. If you're saying who cares if nobody goes to the Charlotte Hornets.
No. You are under the misinformation that all 30 teams count the same. They do not.
Obviously,
all 30 markets do not count the same.
Okay,
it was a point where OKC's market didn't count. Yeah, it was a moment in time where the San Antonio Spurs sucked.
Oh my God, look, man,
it was a moment in time where the Houston Rockets were terrible.
Respect the Spurs.
Now they're at the top of the league because of the draft.
The money that comes into the league is based on the average game.
Not just because
the
of the
average
draft.
game,
Don't
unfortunately, the Lakers have to play the Hornets.
Wait a minute.
Why is OKC where they're at? Why are the Rockets at where they're at? Why are the Spurs at where they're at right now?
Keep going, Penn. Keep going, Penn.
I cannot have half my games. Like if I'm the Lakers, right? I got to sell tickets to these games. I got to sell tickets not only to the games. I got to sell these games to advertisers. Now, let's just say I'm going to Amazon, I'm going to Hulu, I'm going to wherever my games are. And I'm saying Dallas Mavericks versus Los Angeles Lakers, March 2nd. Okay. And it just so happens that March 2nd rolls around and these two teams are worse than expected. Anthony Davis is out last second. LeBron James is out. Now my advertisers are like, why the fuck am I paying you to broadcast this game again? People have more options than literally ever to do something else, anything else. The NBA's competition is not going. Adam Silver is not thinking about what's good for Charlotte and what's good for Dallas and what's good for Houston. He's thinking about what's good for the NBA as it pertains to, we are competing with the NFL. We are competing with FIFA. We are competing with the EuroLeague. We are competing with YouTube. We are competing with Netflix.
I love how you brought up the NFL.
Sure.
Why is the NFL as successful as they are?
Don't know shit about the NFL. Please enlighten me.
Number 1 pick. The second bad team gets the number 2 pick. The third bad team gets the number 3 pick. They get great parity across the board because if you suck, if your team has holes, you get the best chance to fill your holes. That's why the NFL works, and that's why I hate the draft lottery, because why should I be in a league where San Antonio, Dallas, and Philadelphia get rewarded with great players already on their roster, having picks 1, 2, and 3, and the actual bad teams get picks 4, 5, and 6? Why should
this is a disingenuous argument, Casual, because the bad teams have been being incentivized.
The analogy here.
But the bad teams have been getting incentivized. What are we doing here? Are we pretending that Washington hasn't gotten a whole bunch of top 10 picks? Are we pretending that bad teams haven't been getting top 10 picks?
Bad teams in the sport who might, they're going to be, Real Talk had the analogy. You're going to give out these tutorings to these kids. There's just going to be kids who are in their head. They're just not going to do it. They're just not there. But you know what? There's going to be a chance where San Antonio gets to pick David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Wemby. Where would the San Antonio Spurs be if they didn't get the opportunity to pick those players?
Okay, here's the difference, though.
Why do expansion teams get high draft picks?
That's a great point.
Because they need a great starting ground.
Where would OKC be without Kevin Durant?
Right, they wouldn't be anywhere. Now,
LeBron made the Cleveland Cavaliers a $1 billion franchise.
The NBA gifted.
There's a reason why we give expansion teams high lottery picks. There's a reason why we give expansion teams high lottery picks.
Yes, and I could definitely get with that, Damian. But if you have a history of ruining guys, like for example, we talked about Charlotte. I don't know if y'all remember this, but wasn't the Dallas Mavericks just in the NBA championship like 2 years ago?
Yep.
And with them being in the NBA championship, one of the guys, how they ended up getting to the Western Conference Finals was PJ Washington. He was huge. Just so you know, he was in Charlotte earlier that year. Garbage. He was trash for them. Y'all couldn't care less about what was going on with PJ Washington. You know why? Because they weren't doing anything with him. Nothing. I don't know if you know this.
And they got Gafford from Washington.
He's a role player. He's a role player. Okay, but he's a role player.
I'm not finished. The guy the starting center for the Phoenix Suns who trounced the Lakers last night. His name's Mark Williams. I don't know if you remember. He was in Charlotte. What were they doing with him? What exactly were they doing with him?
Well, that's why we have free agents.
They weren't doing anything with him.
He's a role player.
Wait, hold on. Hey, wait.
He's a role player.
To Ron's point, when he brings up the Houston Rockets with all those draft picks that he talks about. Okay, I don't know if y'all noticed, but they had those draft picks with Steven Silas. Steven Silas out, Ime Udoka in. Otherwise, he was going to wreck those guys. He was going to destroy those guys. So just because you have good draft picks, real talk, right? Just because you have good draft picks, that doesn't mean that that means you're going to do right by these guys. That doesn't just mean that.
Obviously,
chill. Your
doesn't mean
PJ, chill. Your PJ Washington point actually defeats your own point. It's a contradicting statement because you're saying that these bad franchises, like a Charlotte, a player gets there and they get ruined and they can't play. But the fact that PJ Washington was a good player, even in Charlotte. Now, he's on a bad team, but he was able to become a good player because if he wasn't a good player, he wouldn't have been able to immediately impact the Mavericks.
Bro, like, what are we
Cook him, real talk.
If he was bad,
Cook his ass, real talk.
To go over there to the Mavericks and contribute as a good player because he would have been bad. Like you
put
said,
him on a grill, real talk.
It doesn't even make sense.
100%. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, real talk. But here's the difference: who drafted him? Why couldn't he do that in Charlotte?
Because
Why wasn't he able to do that?
If you're the second option on a bad team, you're going to look a lot better when you're the fifth option on the winning team. You're going to look like such a winning player when you're the fifth best player on Dallas, and then you're going to look like such a losing player when you're the second best player.
Although we're talking about role players,
you're playing a different role when you go on a team like Dallas, and maybe PJ Washington just wasn't good enough to be hooping at the level he needed to in Charlotte. But when he goes down a role on a winning team like Dallas, then you start seeing
who's
the
developing
highlights of
him
the
and
game.
who's turning him into that kind of player, as opposed to what was going
No,
on in Charlotte when he wasn't turning into that.
He's not
was
turning into
good.
that kind of
He
player.
was good in Charlotte.
Charlotte
He
haven't.
wasn't what he
Charlotte
was in
haven't had
Dallas, though,
generational talent.
who has a better developmental system.
But we're
Clearly, they have
comparing
a
him in
better
different
developmental
roles,
system in
though. That's the
Dallas.
problem. If he's in Charlotte, he's like the second best player in Charlotte. But if he's in Dallas, he's like the fifth best player, which means you get the ball half as much. You have the half as much responsibility. You're just playing a different role. So it looks
Yes,
like
sir.
you're contributing to winning and you're a better player. Is
Correct.
PJ Washington really a better player on Dallas than he is in Charlotte, or is he just in a different role?
He is. I think
What-
that they put
what
him in
happened
a
to
different-
Dyson
I think that
Daniels?
they put him in a different space to maximize him, which they
Sure.
didn't do in Charlotte. And if this is so, maybe he should not have been the second best player in Charlotte. Maybe they should have done a better job in drafting and putting him in a space where he can be successful. Which goes back to Ron's point. When you got the Houston Rockets and you got Jabari Smith and you got Amen Thompson and you got all of these guys,
Well, Chill,
who
when I'm
they end up
picking
having.
pick two,
what-
I kind of
what
need
does
him to be
Reed
better than
Shepherd
he
look
is.
like? What does Reed Shepherd look like if he's in another? If he's in
Chill,
another
but
situation?
you can't compare. I know you brought up Steven Silas and Ime Udoka, and that's fair.
Yep.
I'm not saying that Steven Silas is a better coach than Ime Udoka, but what I am saying is that Steven Silas got these players in their first, second, and third year, whereas Ime Udoka gets the evolution of them in their fourth, fifth, and sixth year. A player's obviously going to be better as they get older, as opposed to when they're younger.
I mean, that is true. But
Okay,
like,
but he's better in his third year than his first year.
Hold up. What about New Orleans?
Jalen Green's better in his fourth year than in his first and second year.
In theory, yes, but not
Kevin
every-
Porter Jr. is better now than he was in his second year. Like, obviously,
and Zion is worse, and Ben Simmons was worse, and DeJounte Murray
okay,
is worse.
and
So
check
my-
this out,
my
and check
point
this
is-
out, and check this out. Mark Jackson didn't ruin the Warriors. Steve Kerr just got a better version of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, and he got Andre Iguodala and all of this. Mark Jackson had a less version of them because they were younger. Like, do you guys sincerely think that if Mark Jackson would have stuck around, Steph Curry wouldn't have a ring? I'm not
Also,
saying he would
can
have
someone-
four.
can
I'm
someone
not saying he's a better
argue-
coach than Steve Kerr. I'm just saying
He
when you
wasn't
draft young
ruining-
players, you have to go through the maturation process of them getting older
100%.
and better.
And the difference,
It is-
the
it is
difference
a-
in that.
No,
My fault, real talk.
no, I just want to say.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To me, it is a lazy assessment to just blame number one picks not being good on the organization.
Yes.
Take it. You brought up Ben Simmons, right? It's hard for me to look at Philadelphia and be like, oh my goodness, Philadelphia, what are you doing? When he's also playing next to a player who is ascending every year on end and becomes one of the best players, if not arguably the best player in the league and the MVP right next to him. He has another great prospect getting better in the same organization as he continues to not get better. So why would I look at Philly and be like, oh my goodness, Ben Simmons isn't good because Philadelphia? No. And it can always be a number of events that happens for the player not to turn into the player that they're supposed to be. Ben Simmons, he did have that back injury, right? There's a multitude of things that can happen. It's not always like, oh, number one pick didn't hit their ceiling, organization problem. Like, that's not how that goes.
But a lot of times it is an organization problem.
But is it?
But look at what happened with Dyson Daniels in New Orleans. How many players has New Orleans had that are incredibly high? Hold up.
He was a throw-in in that trade. Like, here, take him too.
What are we doing here? I'll watch them in New Orleans. I had a lot of hope for Jordan Hawkins. Okay, a lot of hope. I had a lot of hope for Yves Missi. Unfortunately, these dudes all ended up in New Orleans. Last year, Zion Williamson, right? That whole thing with him losing all the weight. They've ruined that dude's career, and you could argue he's ruined his own career. I'm not really here to debate. Okay, cool. But here's the thing, casual.
The Pelicans that ruined Zion. Zion ruined the Pelicans.
Oh my God. No,
Zion ruined the Pelicans. That boy brought Mariah Mills, had Mariah Mills sitting courtside.
What did they do? What did they do to him? What did they do to him?
The minute that BBL entered the Smoothie King Center, it was a wrap. The minute he brought the BBL booms into the Smoothie King Center, it was over.
I'm not blaming the Pelicans organization for that freak ass boy.
You are handing 19-year-olds adult accountability when you're not realizing is when you hand someone $10 million.
Okay, well, they need to stay in college longer than Pitt. You said it right there.
Cool.
Keep your ass in school.
Okay, cool.
I
don't want to debate that. I don't want to debate that, Ox, because yes, but at the same time, you tear an ACL, and we've had this debate a million times. That contract goes away. You're not a first-round pick anymore.
You're the one that says we can't keep giving them adult responsibilities.
Creates. If we are going to be drafting 18-year-olds like like Cooper Flagg and 19-year-olds like Zion Williamson to organizations, there needs to be an infrastructure in place to help them deal with adult life.
So you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me if Zion would have went to Miami, he wouldn't have touched the BBL in Miami?
No idea what Zion would look like in another organization. What I am telling you is I have seen what Brandon Ingram looks like in Toronto, and I saw what he looked like last year in New Orleans. And I will tell you right now, he's number 4 in the minutes in number 4 in the league in minutes played. And last year it was
an all-star in New Orleans, by the way.
Okay,
I just want to tell you, my grandma told me you could train a secretary, you could also wreck her. But what my grandma failed to mention is that if that secretary is a degenerate, I can't change those ways, okay? If my secretary likes BBLs and parties up all night with strippers, how am I going to get that secretary out of their ways? If this is just who they are, that's who they are.
You know the difference with that though, Ron? You hired that secretary. You were the one who did the background. You're the one who did the background on that secretary. You are the one who found out.
I hired him at Harvard. I hired him at Harvard. They drafted Zion out of Duke. They didn't know this Zion the Mills of this world.
Just because I went to Harvard, that don't mean I like coke and horse, huh?
How'd you know he was doing this?
Because I went to Harvard. No, I ain't.
You didn't. That's the point I'm making. You didn't.
It's smart.
But this is such a silly argument, Ron.
To real talk.
You're the one who tried to blame the organization for his degenerate ways.
With real talk.
Hold on.
Interesting point.
Joe Dumars doing it with him.
Do you want to give someone $20 million and no accountability? Because you're afraid to lose him, because you're a small market team, you don't want to hold a guy accountable. That's why you have to have some amount of respect for guys like Pat Riley, who are willing to at least, and Eric Spoelstra and whoever else, Greg Popovich, who are just willing to say, you know what, young man, I understand you're a phenomenal athlete, but you are not above the law. And if you are going to destroy this team, if you are going to be selfish, you're going to sit. I like that personally. I like that.
Penn, you're right. You're right in the fact that some organizations develop guys better than others. I think we can all agree on that.
I agree.
But that doesn't mean that we can penalize franchises and never give them potential stars. I think both things can be true here. I think that we know that it's just like some players are better than other players. Some organizations are better run than other players. Some teams are better at developing talent than other teams, but it doesn't mean we can penalize them to that degree.
Okay, Damian, is it penalizing bad investors to ruin their credit the first time they default on a loan? At some point, we have to ask ourselves the question. Are these rules that are being imposed by the NBA stopping you from getting a star? No, because you can't draft top 4 back-to-back years. That's not stopping you. That is creating a system that is no longer incentivizing you to be bad. See, there is a difference between you are a bad team and you need help. That I get. I understand. Things happen. Look, the Chicago Bulls, after Michael Jordan retired, Dennis Rodman was gone. They needed help. They got Elton Brand. It didn't work out. They got the Baby Bulls. They got Eddie Curry. It didn't work out. Tyson Chandler didn't work out. Finally got Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler, and it did work out. That took a long time. That took nearly 10 years. Sometimes that has to happen. But what we're saying here is not, oh, you're bad, and boom, you get the 30th pick. We're saying you can't get back-to-back top 4 picks. We're not saying, oh, you're bad, so you get the 13th pick. And oh, by the way, the Lakers and the New York Knicks are a big market team, so they get the first overall pick. Like, why are we stretching this argument into something that it was never, ever supposed to be? We're trying to tell you, listen, if I create a system that is going to penalize you for being bad, as well as reward you, like I'm rewarding you for being bad once, but if you're bad for 3 straight years, you don't just get to keep reaping the rewards. You know what I mean?
Well,
I agree with you with that. I agree with you on that.
Wait a minute though.
What if the guy that they draft top 4 is a bust, and then they're ended up supposed to be in the top 4?
Yeah, and not only that.
Okay, take the 5th overall pick the next year, and then go back to top 4 the next year. It doesn't really matter.
The reason why this
now
logic
it's a 3-year process and not a potential 2.
Oh, the reason why this logic isn't going to work is there's a reason why I was bad. Like for example, Ron, the Golden State Warriors with drafting Steph Curry, and then you end up drafting Klay Thompson, and then you get the kid Harrison Barnes, and then you get Draymond. The reason why they were able to get those guys because they were bad. Now it's up to us to turn these guys into players, which is what they were doing. That's why your example with Mark Jackson doesn't work, Ron, because he was developing those guys. They were turning into that. Steve Kerr comes in and enhances what he already
Why'd he get
started.
fired?
Well, he got fired because it was a multitude of things going on within the organization, like religious stuff and things like that, where we had gone as far as we were going to go with Mark Jackson at that particular time. Steve Kerr comes in, changes the offense, turns them into something not completely, just enhances what they were already doing. These guys were already long ball shooters. They were already bomb droppers. Steve Kerr enhanced that. Same thing with Draymond. Draymond was a defender. Okay, Steve Kerr comes in, enhances all of this stuff. So they were developing these guys. It wasn't like the Houston situation where Jalen Green, where Jabari Smith, these guys were on their way to being ruined. Steven Silas was ruining these guys. Then Ime Udoka comes in and he turns this thing around. So it's a combination of the two. I actually want teams, I actually want cities to get talent. I don't want them to ruin it. And we've seen, we have teams who have a history of ruining guys. And I'd much rather see player A in this city as opposed to this city, because the history that you've shown me is that you're going to screw this guy up.
Well, then
you are.
Okay, so then how do you make that system? Like, give me like a little blueprint, rough draft of that system where we just like say, oh, the top markets, top development systems.
Casual. Can I give you a list of players and you tell me if under these new rules you would have been stopped as a team from drafting these guys? Would you have been stopped from drafting Nikola Jokic if you didn't have a top 4 pick?
The likelihood of finding Nikola Jokic
I'm going to give you a list
of lower.
No, I understand.
The likelihood of finding a Nikola Jokic in the top 3.
But I think you have to acknowledge the fact that of the top 20 players in the league, they come from everywhere in the draft. Okay?
Yes.
Jokic, SGA.
But it's the likelihood, though.
No.
It's the likelihood.
Bro, if I tell you the top 20 players are not number 1 picks, then the likelihood of
gold anywhere. You can find diamonds in the rough everywhere, but the likelihood of you finding a diamond is a lot higher at the top than it is at the bottom. And that's why we have this system. Especially if these teams have really bad scouting departments, it's a lot easier on them if the process is giving them a top 3 pick so they can get the better players.
If that was the point, nobody would take.
But people tank.
We wouldn't be having this conversation if that was the case. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
No. Ron, is it a financially smart move to play the scratchy lotteries every single day? Is it financially incentivized? Is the expected value of a lottery ticket that you buy what you pay, or are you paying a premium on hope? Because when you buy a lottery ticket, I promise you are losing money every time.
Well, you have a lot better. Well, when it comes to lottery tickets, you have a lot better chance of winning money.
Win
the more
$45 million
lottery ticket is. So, like, let's just say, like, the better the lottery ticket, the better chance you have at winning money. So, I'm not saying you can't win the lottery no matter where you are in the draft.
You can never
but you have a better
win
chance of winning money if your lottery ticket is a lot better, and that being the top 3. And so, like, who's just gonna like bank on finding their face of the franchise at like the 40th pick?
Well, how about I give you a list of guys who are borderline face of franchise, and you tell me if you could have found them outside the top 4. How about that?
It's the likelihood. I'm not saying you can't.
No. Yo, if I give you 20 names and you say yes 17 times, then the likelihood is 17 out of 20.
That was going to change.
Okay, casual. Give me a break, man. Like I know that you just want to have it one way, but how about I give you a list of 20 names?
Yeah,
and you tell me yes or no?
Okay.
Hey, Pin, hold on.
Wait. There's no need for the list, Ron. We can move to another conversation because now we're having a whole different conversation because now Penn is now posing a question of, well, how valuable are those top 4 picks anyway? If you could just find the top 20 players aren't found in the league right now, aren't found in the top 4. Then what's the complaint? Then what is the complaint of them getting? What is the complaint of bad teams? What is the complaint of bad teams getting the picks? If it doesn't matter because you can just find the top 20 players everywhere else in the draft. But that's a whole nother conversation.
We actually do gotta pivot into these crunch time chats. So this conversation may extend into the chats based on what the people said. But Pin, your top 2 players were drafted in the top 4 anyway.
Like who the fuck are you guys? Who are you guys? Like, move on. Like we just ridiculous. And Unpredictable is a prime example of that. Like, dude, you don't like the conversation that we're having? You want us to move on? Go start your own podcast. Talk to your own people. What the hell is wrong with you? We up here talking basketball. Don't tell us to move on. We move on when we're ready to move on. You don't like it? Leave. That's how simple that is. We're actually having a really good conversation. and we're talking basketball here. Whether you like it or not,
Bye,
bounce.
nigga.
I'm sick of these dudes up here talking to us like, yo, move on. What are you talking? Even if I'm capping, even if you disagree with it, don't tell me to
Bye,
move on.
nigga.
What we're doing here is we're talking basketball. If you don't like it,
nigga.
please. Fuck out of here, man. Telling me to move on. This is our show. This is what we do here.
Yeah, appreciate
You
that.
goofy.
And
He's got some
this has
nerve.
nothing to do with this has nothing to do with me getting cooked. Nothing
Ron,
to do with it.
Ron,
I'm
I got
asking
one
Goofy's
question
got
for you.
nerve.
Ron, before we
None of-
move on, I
this
got
has
one
nothing
question
to
for
do
you.
with me
You
getting
chump
cooked.
ass goofies in the
'Cause I don't
chat
give
got
a
some
fuck.
nerve.
Ron,
we actually
Mr.
up here
Comedy
having a
Mike.
conversation, and we're having a really good debate. None of you dudes, keyboard warriors that you are, don't do this. It's real simple to sit behind the keyboard and talk that shit. Meanwhile, you won't come up here and deal with us on a regular basis. You sit behind the keyboard and talk that nonsense. And then you tell us to move on like you run the show. No, you don't. This is our thing. You're guests here, motherfuckers.
Silly goofies. All right, let's get into these super chats. The first one is from Huncho. Huncho said the NBA should just do what the NFL do. Worst team gets the first pick. Look at the Patriots after Tom Brady. They were in the top 7 every year. They finally hit on Drake May last year, and now they have no reason to want to be bad.
What round was Tom Brady picked in?
To your point, casual. They do that everywhere else. Like they do that in Major League Baseball. Who has the worst record? You get the first pick in the draft. They do it.
I actually
in the
don't think it's like that. I think their draft format's pretty weird, but it's usually like the worst records are at the top. It's usually
same thing in the NHL and in pro football. Like whoever has the worst record, like
I think doesn't the NHL have a lottery?
The NHL does have a lottery. Yes, the NHL does have a lottery. But I think it's put together with the worst team has a higher odd than what's going on in pro basketball. A higher odds in pro basketball to actually win the lottery. Like if you are, let's say, who's the worst? Like Washington, you got a 14% chance in winning the lottery. Like my odds should be higher than that. They should be higher than that if I'm talking about winning the lottery, as opposed to the Atlanta Hawks who just missed the playoffs.
Yeah,
my odds aren't that much simple. My odds aren't that much further apart than theirs are.
I think, like, listen, if we want to do like a system, like a compromise, we just do like, hey, the top 4 teams do a lottery. Yep. So like teams don't tank for the number 1 pick. I can totally see that. But like the idea that Atlanta and Dallas, teams that were pretty much about to make the playoffs, get the number 1 pick, get out of here. Like, what are we doing? And to Penn's point, he was going to show me a list, I assume, of players who are probably taking like the 2nd round or late 1st round or the top 20 players.
Top 20
he was
players
probably going to show me like the top 20 players in the NBA and say, oh, Shea was picked here. The difference is a lot of those guys ended up being faces of the franchises, but their teams didn't necessarily draft them assuming they were going to be the face of the franchise. Teams who are bad like Washington or Charlotte and are desperate for the number 1 pick, they are looking for a face of the franchise. So I'm not saying you can't find a face of the franchise at pick 49, but the likelihood of that happening is a lot lower than the likelihood of that guy being at the top. And when you draft at the top, or you're as bad as a team that needs to draft at the top, you're actively looking for a face of the franchise. So I'm not saying it's unlikely that a player, actually it is unlikely, but I'm not saying it's impossible for a guy in the 2nd round to become a face of the franchise, but you're not looking for a face of the franchise at pick 30. You're looking for a face of the franchise in top 3. And these teams that are like Charlotte, Washington, or picking in the top 3, they need a face of the franchise. And it's a lot higher that, a guy's a face of the franchise if he's the number 1 overall prospect.
I feel like I'm in the Matrix. Yo, the Bucks had a face of the franchise, Jabari Parker. Then they drafted the face of their actual franchise in Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Hold on, Penn.
Yeah, but they didn't draft Giannis assuming that guy was going to be the face.
Okay, but they
are turning out to be the face. The guys who were really
an 18, 19-year-old
Jabari Parker was supposed to be really good though, man.
Yeah, he was the guy. Giannis was insurance.
Oh my God! The point of this conversation is generally to show that value is found everywhere. If I go through the list of the last few MVPs, it's not all Wemby's.
The value's a lot higher towards the top.
Of course, and no one is debating that.
Pen and casual. I'm sorry. The chat has instructed me to move on, so we have to move on. It's a must. So the next super chat I got is from Eric Espinoza. Oh, Eric Espinoza. My bad, y'all. Eric Espinoza said, "We here, baby. The Spurs are fucking here, baby." To be honest, I didn't see this team getting this good so soon. But it brings me tears of joy to watch this team play legit basketball again. Race for 6. GSG.
I wonder how the Spurs are so good.
Go Spurs.
Would it be casual because they got a franchise player that they got?
I wonder
in the
how the
draft?
Spurs are so good. Did they not just pick 2 and 1 in back-to-back years?
It might be because they got a franchise player.
Rookie of the year, rookie of the year.
Then the next, yeah, I wonder why the Spurs.
That's
are so
probably
good.
why. It has a lot to do with having Wemby. Yes, who they got in the draft, by the way. Yes, 100%.
And Castle and Harper and
They are ahead of schedule though, I think as well. Like I think that's
very
true as well. Yeah.
The Spurs,
The Spurs are at least one. Yeah, they may be two. They are really good, and what they pulled off yet again against OKC is very impressive. Their rotation of guards is impressive. They can defend in multiple positions. Shout out to Dalen Harper being a far better defender than advertised, at least. Multiple guards that can dribble drive. They have Wemby, who's the best defender in the world. This is the second time they played OKC, and they were the better defense on the court. OKC maybe has a few things to figure out, like offense outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They may want to figure that out.
I love what they did after the win, though. That soccer atmosphere with the pounding of the drum and stuff.
Yes.
It's almost like that Spurs team has a residue of winning and a culture. And it's pretty cool. Like they got some championship banners hanging up there. They got a really smart young head coach. They got a great training staff. They got Greg Popovich still in the building in that organization, spearheading everything. It's almost like they know how to win. And all those young players come in and they see those championship banners and they're like, damn, I'm in a serious ass organization. It's almost like something like that might have happened.
Yeah, and all of that doesn't start if they don't draft
Tim Duncan, David Robinson.
You're not making the point you think you're making. Because hey, Penn, this is what happens. You get cooked and then you get stuck on that one point. We're trying to progress in the show. So let it go, my pal. We're talking about OKC versus Spurs and what we saw last night.
Seriously,
so let's talk about
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Real talk. Don't talk to me, bro.
Please. Why are you so pressed?
Why am I so pressed?
Real talk. He asked you nicely not to talk to him, so you could talk to me and then I'll talk to him.
We're on a talk show.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, Ron. So, okay.
Well, no. Chill, right quick. Penn brought up something great. Shout out to Splash Sports. Penn brought up something great, and I thought this was fascinating. So I do want to play this for the people that haven't seen it. Penn is right. The Spurs do got a culture, and they started something new last night that we've never seen before. I'm gonna play this video. Let's watch it. You guys, let me know what you think about it. That's fire, right, fellas?
I was very happy.
Smiling with the European atmosphere.
Yes, sir.
You know what? This offseason, I made a very conscious decision that I was going to cover the Spurs because they keep drafting all my favorite prospects: Steph Castle, Dylan Harper, Victor Wembanyama. I'm just like, man, Carter Bryant. These are some of my favorite prospects in the draft.
Getting it right in the draft is important, man. Getting it right in the draft is 100. It is very important. Getting it right in the draft. Yes, it is.
And you know what, Webby, like, so some of his press conference quotes, chill. I'll be having to remind myself that he's 21, 22 years old because this shit is crazy. Like you see that thing that he said about Chet, where they were asking him about a comparison. He's like, well, when it comes to basketball, there is no comparison between us. Like, this be some petty ass shit. This be like some Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler. No, I love it. Petty. I love it. Yo, I love it because this is
he ain't on my level.
Yeah, don't compare him. Don't compare him to me. I love it, man.
On my level. No,
I love the Spurs team.
That is. I think that's basketball. I don't think that's petty. I don't think that that's less than. I think that that's basketball. I think that's what the theater of basketball is about. And I think that we get away from that because we live in this society where you have to be real careful, real talk about what you say because you don't want to offend some people. You want to make sure that you don't ruffle any feathers. I got no problem telling you I'll bust your ass. I'm better than you. And you can tell anybody, you can write that down. I'm better than him. Yes, I am.
Thanks.
And when I see him, I'll tell him to his face.
I'm glad you brought that up because you just reminded me. This is yet another W against school supplies. This is yet another dub against.
I thought we were moving on.
Still doesn't have a dub against me. We haven't even spoken on this topic.
Weren't we moving on? We're not moving on.
You haven't got a dub against me yet, and then you resort to bad jokes in the chat. Oh my goodness! But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right, Chill. I totally agree. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Damien.
They ruined Cooper Flagg. I know basketball.
Damien, I would like for you to speak into that video a little bit, if you would like to, because you said something about they're implementing European culture.
Yeah, I think Drench is smart. In some
Where
way,
have
'cause
you
he
seen
probably
that
sees
before?
it a lot.
Soccer.
He probably sees that. Yeah, exactly.
And
It's a soccer mentality, a football mentality. I think the Spurs are trying to cultivate that a little bit. And I know Drenchy probably sees this a lot when he does the breakdowns of the European stuff. But I think it's good to bring that type of culture to the league, because when you go and watch the Euro League, the crowd is one of the reasons why home court is so it's so dominant, such an advantage, because these environments are really intimidating. So if the Spurs can try and create something similar, it can be a pretty cool thing for the league to maybe other few teams to try and follow, so they can get the full advantages. But the reason why the Spurs are ahead of schedule, by the way, is because they got these 3 E's going, Ron: efficiency, effectiveness, and their etiquette's good with each other. You know what I'm saying? So,
Don't forget,
so that's why I think
excellent.
the Spurs got it going on, and excellent as well.
out
So
to
yeah, they're
Spurs.
definitely ahead of schedule. They got it going on. They got good chemistry. So shout outs to them.
And
man.
I think one of the things, Ron, when it comes to San Antonio, and I know we're going to talk about the game. I mean, they got a great developmental system over there. They do, and they hire the right people. They do. It's very important for them.
All right, the next super chat is from Vic DaVinci, YT. Vic DaVinci said, might be a hot take, but I don't care. Charles Barkley is better than Karl Malone at basketball, and I hate how underrated he is. Doing what he did at 6'4", while being an elite rebounder, will never be seen again.
Stop with the 6'4" shit. Okay.
Please.
I don't know if you know this. That's Jordan, and that's Charles Barkley. Jordan's 6'6". That's Barkley. Barkley is not 6'4". He's bigger than that.
Yeah, this
You
right.
see it right there.
He's
You see it right there? One more time. He's 6'6". Stop with the bullshit. He's not that small.
And he got
No, he
He's
is.
an
long-ass arms.
undersized power forward, though.
He is 100% an undersized power forward, but no, he's not 6'4". He's bigger.
But you don't
than that.
grab rebounds with your head. You grab them with your arms. You got them long ass arms.
Yeah, he had like a 6'10" wingspan. Charles
Mhm.
Barkley was nuts. Yeah, it was something. It was something crazy like that. But with that being said, I vehemently disagree with this point. Malone was better than him. Malone was a better mid-range jump shooter. Malone was a better defensive player than him. Barkley, I'll give you the rebounding. I 100% give you the rebounding. Even though Malone was an elite rebounder, he did it for a longer period of time. He was awesome in the clutch. He was awesome in the postseason, and he was just better than Malone. I mean, he was better than Barkley. Yes.
I think Barkley was better because he was drafted higher.
Here we go.
I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. Don't
That's
worry.
what I was about to say. Penn ain't getting off this, y'all. Just so y'all know, he's not letting this go. No.
We got a super chat from I Love Chilltown. I don't agree with that, but I Love Chilltown, loves Chilltown, and said, Merry Christmas to you, PC fam. Yours truly from Republica Dominicana. Hashtag Mr. Necessary. Hashtag the one and only. Hashtag Big Dog. Hashtag I shall return. Hashtag the final boss, maybe.
Merry Christmas.
Hashtag
Dominican
never seen
Republic.
somebody spell out hashtag.
Never seen
Spell out
somebody spell out
hashtag, and I
hashtag
just
real talk.
Put a hashtag. It's crazy.
Never seen that before. That's the first time I've seen somebody
Shout
spell out
to you.
hashtag.
Yeah.
No, what the hell is that about? No. Uh-huh.
Shout out the Dominican Republic. The next super chat is from Reginald Deborah. Said OKC lost 3 times in 1 month. They should sell the team. Also, hi, Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
He needs some
I
new
think it's a joke that
bifocals.
he's high. So
Anybody concerned about OKC?
No,
No.
but I think J-Dub has not looked great for the most part.
What do you
the only
mean
thing
by
you should be concerned
concern?
about is like they don't get the record. Other than that, they're still the best team in the NBA. They only got like 4 losses. Yeah, but
What do you
I
mean-
do agree
what
to
do you
Penn's point. When J-Dubs came back, just hasn't quite looked the same. Just hasn't quite
It's
looked
okay.
the same.
He's a
But-
big part of their offense.
but Ron,
They
I
gotta
think-
integrate him.
But Ron, I think you make a good point, and I think the Spurs present a unique set of challenges for them. And obviously, it starts with Wemby, but they have a bunch of stuff that they're going to put a lot of teams in the blender and things like that. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup if they meet in the postseason, I think. Not saying the Spurs are going to beat them, but I think they present a unique set of challenges.
So in 300 minutes with J-Dub this year, their offense is about 5 points worse. Their defense is about 3 points worse. So their net rating with J-Dub versus off. So again, 900 minutes without, 300 minutes with is negative 8.8. This is going to get better. He's still, in my opinion, their second best player and their second most important player, but he has not played like it so far. He has looked very bad.
I don't think they've won a game with their starting five yet this season. They've only played like 3 games.
No, but they haven't played that many games.
And
yeah, they haven't played that many games.
I mean, this is the thing with Tyrese Maxey and the Philadelphia 76ers as well. Maxey was balling, and then they start getting some of their pieces back, and it doesn't look the same anymore. And it's the same thing with the OKC Thunder. The whole selling point early was like, oh, they're 25-1 or 25 and whatever, and they haven't even played their starting lineup yet. And it's just like, look how much better it's going to look. And it's just like, actually, it looks worse.
It takes time.
Hey, Ox, I heard what you mumbled, Ox, and when I was watching the game, I was like, you know what, Ox finna be on that tomorrow morning. So I did see. Here's what I'll say about Chet at the rim, right? Because I was like, oh my goodness, I was finna say Chet is a buffet at the rim tomorrow morning, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying like, okay, when you get there and you go up. He is great at contesting and or blocking your shot, right? I think we can all give him that. But I will also say this. It's not like people aren't willing to go like challenge him though. Like they feel like if I can bump him first before we get into the air and stuff like that, knock him off his take away his blocking angle and whatnot, like people will challenge him at the rim. It's not like when you see it, and then you see that when he's on the court with Wemby too. Like people don't challenge Wemby. Like you see that like regularly occurring. People will challenge Chet. Like you'll kind of boom, finish. You know what I'm saying? But
I got to choose between the
is Chet a better rim protector than Ben Wallace?
No.
What type of questions you asking?
No.
I was just intellectual curiosity, yo.
Right, sure. This is not a troll. He's being honest. No,
we don't know yet.
To answer your question, Penn. To answer your question, Penn, no. I think Ben Wallace was a lot more physical. I think his timing was better. I think he was less apt to get pushed under the rim after blocking shots because of his physicality.
You know me well enough to know that this is just a setup to tell you that Ben Wallace was undrafted, right?
He was definitely he did not get drafted. That is a fact.
Good stuff.
Yes. And by the way, Detroit
thinks I disagree. He thinks I disagree that it's impossible to find an all-star like
casual. Casual. Just let him rock out.
Yeah, but before we even fall into that, I do want to expand on what Damian said. And as of right now, and I want to know how you guys feel about this. I think that the Spurs might be the biggest threat to OKC. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. They're still young. It's no way they could beat them in a 7-game series. Okay, I didn't say that they will beat them. I said the biggest threat. And you guys got to look at this. And these are my 3 reasons why I think that the Spurs could be the biggest threat. 1, because they have 3 guys that you can't keep out of the paint. Sure. And the way that OKC likes to play, they like to pressure you. They like to press you. They like to get up on you. Well, when you play against De'Aaron Fox, when you play against Dylan Harper, when you play against Stephon Castle, you're actually playing into their hands when you pressure them. These are the guys that want to get into the paint. The closer you get up on them, the easier it is for them to get by you and get into the paint. Granted, you will turn them over a couple times, but you're still playing into their hands. Secondly, the Spurs are very deep and very balanced, and they have veterans over there. They have guys that they have big 3-and-D wings, and they can defend to the level. They might not be as good as OKC, but they can defend on that level, and they're scrappy too. So you're not going to bully them because they're going to do that same thing back to you. And then last but not least, obviously, they have potentially the biggest mismatch in the NBA. Not the best player, the biggest mismatch in Victor Wembanyama. Those 3 things right there are why I say that the Spurs will give the OKC Thunder problems, just like we're going to see tomorrow when they play again on Christmas.
Ron,
they beat them in
Denver, New York.
That's facts.
OKC.
Yep. They beat them, and Wemby scored like 12 points. De'Aaron Fox scored 6 points. Bro, big shout out to Keldon Johnson, by the way. I don't know if anybody like brought him up individually yet. But he definitely hooped. He had some good possessions guarding Shea as well. One thing I did notice as far as J-Dub in particular in this matchup, Shea was, finding his opportunities. He was being Shea. J-Dub had a hard time creating separation off the bounce against basically any of their perimeter players, whether it was Keldon, whether it was Dylan Harper, whether it was like Vassell. He couldn't generate great shots for himself against a lot of those Spurs wings. And it's brought up a weakness of OKC's that doesn't really get taken advantage of enough. But like outside of SGA, the shot creation for that team, especially if you can keep the game close or if you can score on them enough, especially if you can score 115 plus against OKC, you put yourself in a good position to beat them because their offense isn't even tailored to that. If you can guard everybody else off the bounce, which a lot of teams that will make the playoffs in the West can.
But why doesn't Chet get enough criticism for this lack of offense, though? I feel like it's all on J-Dub, and I get J-Dub's like their second best offensive player, and he should be. But like Chet wasn't drafted to be Rudy Gobert. Chet was drafted to be like Wemby in a sense. Where
was he drafted at?
But he can
where was he drafted?
85 points tonight.
Oh, he was number 2? Oh, okay.
That's your god.
Yeah, Chet wasn't drafted just to be the guy who stands and blocks the rim. That's a plus, and they need him to do that. But he was also drafted to be, hey, can you get 15 and 20 if I give you the ball and hit a couple threes? That's how he played in high school. That's how he played in Zaga, and that's what they hope he turned into in Oklahoma City. And I think when you see J-Dub, Shea, and Chet all combined for 60 points, I don't think you beat this team when you combine the defense on top of it. But if Chet's going to give me 7, like he was 3 for 10. So yeah, J-Dub was 8 for 18, but I need Chet to be better than 7 points.
Let's not act like he was going up against somebody that was just good. He was going up against Wemby last night.
Chet's
that
team,
was his match.
Chill. Chet is the guy in OKC. He is the man.
No,
why? Because
he is the face of the franchise.
Because he was another.
We are not holding 11th and 12th overall picks in bums like J-Dub and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to the standards.
We 100% are doing
former number 1 recruit, Chet Holmgren.
Ron, you missed one. You missed another point as well because I agree with all your points, Ron, but you missed one more. They have elite coaching too, and it matters. And Mitch Johnson feels like it feels like he pushes all the right buttons, and the rotation stuff is good, and the timeout usage is excellent, and that matters too in a potential matchup. So I agree with all your points, Ron.
Succeeding Greg Popovich is not easy, man.
No, it's not.
That is you talk about filling shoes. Holy shit, you are filling size 22s.
Yeah.
So Ox, I wanted to ask you. So Chet at the rim. So instead of it being a buffet line, it's chicken, it's lobster, it's everything that you're looking for. Mashed potatoes, collard greens, everything. It's still a buffet, but is it less than that with him? Because that's what it sounds like Real Talk is saying. Real Talk is saying instead of it being Golden Corral, where whatever you want, you could get it, we might not have the yams here. You can't get that. We might not have
yams,
greens here, but we got all the other stuff though. We got all the other stuff though when it comes to Chet at the rim.
But where the yams go?
Chill. They got.
They just not available, Ron. Sorry, they just not.
Chill. They got prime rib, fried chicken, everything you looking for. They got it right there. It's all right there at the rim. I'm talking about a buffet. All you can eat. You come here as soon as you leave the church house. We in here.
Not to play first take, not to be Stephen A. Smith, but if San Antonio beats them tomorrow, what's the narrative? Is San Antonio the best team in the NBA?
I know what the narrative is.
Yes.
Is that the narrative?
Do y'all think?
Yes.
Do you think OKC needs to beat them though tomorrow?
I don't.
No, but
OKC has had the easiest schedule in the NBA.
3 times in a week.
Say louder.
That 24-1 shit. I was trying to tell you that shit was fake.
They have the hardest schedule.
Fake because of the best team. Penn, you don't keep that same energy with all the other strength of schedule. Stop saying it. It is fake. Now, yes, now, yes, they are. They are obviously a top 3 or 4 team in the NBA. They have the hardest schedule. Now, yes, they have the hardest schedule. Now, yes, 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 now, yes 3-2, maybe they might be the best team in the
Well,
NBA.
they're the reigning champs
whatever.
and they have the best record.
That whole record thing, they're not that good. You know what I'm saying? They're not that good. 24.
This is the stretch, Ron. You and I have had this conversation in the past, Ron. This is the stretch from December the 18th up into the All-Star break of where we're going to see the separation with these teams. As of right now, Oklahoma City is 500. And I've told you, Ron, that these teams that are in the Western Conference Championship, in the Eastern Conference Championship, in the NBA Championship, during this stretch, with the exception of the Cavs in 18, have all been significantly over 500. Significantly over 500. Now, I say that to say, Casual, if I'm not mistaken, just literally 2 years ago, did we not watch the Phoenix Suns mop the floor with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the regular season?
Yeah, I think they swept them. Yeah, I think they swept them.
And what happened when we got to the playoffs?
They got swept.
Goodbye. Look at the door. Don't let it hit you in your ass on the way out. Goodbye. First and foremost, we're looking at a different team. We're looking at a team right now that we're not going to see come April, come May. Yeah. We're going to see a completely different team, to your point. Their starters haven't been together. We're still trying to work up a lather. And Ox, to your point, yes, we did benefit from a cushy schedule. Yes. That's why you got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. That's why I had such a difficult problem with that's why I had such a difficult time with the Cavs. Because you got to beat the teams that
do you remember?
However, I gotta see it, Damian. I gotta see it. And I gotta see you bounce these dudes 4 times in a week. I need to see it. I ain't talking about
I remember
we play you now and then we don't see you again until February and then we don't see you again until late March. I'm talking about I see you today, which is on a Wednesday, then I see you on Friday, then I see you on Sunday, then I see you on Tuesday, then I see
technically
you
that's
week.
what they're doing right now. I think if they beat them tomorrow, they'll be 3 times in a week.
I mean, chill. They're only 3. Let's see it. Chill. They're only 3.5 games behind them.
Though.
Sorry,
do you guys remember in 2014 when the Nets beat the Heat 4 times in the regular season?
And Miami smoked
them in the playoffs. They got packed up.
Smoked them dudes in 5 games.
I don't think this is necessarily the same thing. Like, I mean, the Spurs deserve a little bit of respect here. Number one, they haven't had a healthy Wemby. They haven't had a healthy Wemby for most of this. And frankly, even now that they have him back, this is not full Wemby. This is Wemby on minutes restriction, Wemby easing back into things. So they haven't been perfectly right. They also, by the way, do not have they're even, I think they're even younger in terms of their upper rotation guys that are actually playing. They're even younger than OKC. And De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper, these guys are brand new teammates. The OKC Thunder have a ton of continuity coming in from last year. They're not implementing a single new piece. So this is the team that won the championship, just coming back with the same dudes pretty much 1 year older. So I think that this Spurs team right now, the fact that they're only 3.5 games behind and they haven't had Fox for most of the season and they haven't had Wemby and they definitely haven't had the time to gel those two together. Don't be surprised if at the end of the year they're like 5 games behind them and we're talking about a 63-win team and a 68-win team, because that could happen.
9-3 without Wemby. Them dudes balling. I told you when either 2 of these 3 play good, they're hard to beat. Between Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, and Devin Vassell, if you get two of those 3 guys to play good any given night, that's going to be a hard team to beat. And 10 assists and 5 steals from Dylan Harper doesn't hurt either.
Oxen, they usually are going to play. I don't want to say they're usually going to play good, but the odds are in their favor to play good because, once again, you have a 3-headed trio, 3-headed point guard monster that cannot be kept out of the paint. So those guys are going to open up the game for everybody. And then you have Victor Wembanyama, the biggest unicorn running around. It's like defenses can't hone in on Devin Vassell. They have to leave Harrison Barnes open. You just have to. You gotta let Keldon Johnson come in and do what he does. Because it's like we would much rather prefer Keldon Johnson to beat us than these other 4 guys. Like, those guys have free reign every single night. And like very few teams have that. But Damian, you were about to say something?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say I think in some ways it could be good for OKC to be losing some of these games. I think that if it got dicey with this 73 wins on the board, I think you can overextend. I think guys can play potentially too many minutes. I think the losses tell you a lot about yourself. I remember Lou Dort saying that against Denver was their, I think, toughest series last year, and it's because they had that seed of doubt in their mind about Denver. And I think the Spurs could be doing the same thing to them. So if they're if they're beating OKC in the regular season, I think it could help OKC down the line as well. So that could be interesting.
Michael Jordan talked about this in The Last Dance as well. He said that he didn't want to give up regular season wins to other teams because he didn't want them to have confidence going up against them. The big part of winning basketball games was the fear factor. That team walks into our building and they already know they've lost the game before we've even played it, right? I don't think it really matters too much. I hate to downplay it. Like, it's great and all that the Spurs are doing this. And, you know, if you're surprised that the Spurs are good, I mean, maybe this is super surprising for you. I'm not surprised that they're good. I expected them to be really good.
This good though, Penn.
This is a little more than good.
This is like
I said
the
top
thing
3
that
seed.
shocked,
Y'all
the
laughed
thing
at me.
that's the thing that's surprising me. Well, I mean, I would have picked them for over 50 wins.
Did you say that they would be that good?
I actually said top 4. I said I could see him being a top 4.
Get it right, Ron. Don't try to put the extra sauce on it.
Like, I don't think it matters.
You didn't even see him being a 4 seed.
I had
Y'all, a lot of you guys said playing.
I had them in the top 6.
They're a year ahead of schedule. Yes, Ron.
Yeah, that's where they are.
They're a year ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Penn. Go ahead.
Does it really matter who said what and what was said? Let's just
Exactly. We're talking about thank you, Alex. Thank you. Come on, right
Yes,
now,
it does.
Talk to your man, Ron. I mean, Ox. Talk to your man. He the one who started this. He the one.
I'm just saying. A lot of times on the show, we do spend about 20 minutes talking about. Well, I said this was gonna happen. I told you.
Yeah, that was 3 months ago. Yeah.
You know, we just make takes. Man. No big deal.
We're all wrong on the Clippers anyway. So
Not me.
We'll get there soon. Hey, we're stopping there next.
I got eviscerated.
We're taking a direct flight to Los Angeles.
I do want to say this though, like the fact that even in some of these other situations, and Ben did outline all the reasons why the Spurs can eventually be a better team as well. It's not like they're playing at full capacity as far as like, oh, J-Dub can get better for OKC. The fact that they've been a better defense than them 2 times, like, it's how they're beating OKC. They're beating OKC at their strength, right? Usually, if nothing else, OKC knows, hey, if we're having a rough offensive night, you know, we can't hit shots, yada, 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 we can out-defend the other team. They haven't been able to do that 2 times against San Antonio. And the fact that they're playing them back to back like this, Chill, like usually, Chill, right? There's if you lose to a team 3 or 4 times consecutively in the regular season, that's because like you may play them, you know, November 29th, then the next time is January 18th, then the next time is March 20th. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that these games are like back to back, and then tomorrow is going to be an OKC. They need to beat the Spurs. I'm sorry. I think for their mental, just to kind of get over that little mental hurdle, just against them specifically, just
I don't
Spurs.
think they have
you
that.
You always it is always better to win a game against a team when you've played them multiple times. I don't care who you are.
Championships are not handed out in December. Championships are not handed out in December.
I didn't say what
mentalities are though.
Like they want to. Hold on. We need to get out of this habit of disrespecting champions. This is a team that went through 4 rounds and won a championship.
Yep.
Okay, this is a team that won a championship and then got through Denver, which is yes, I understand that, and they're a better team this year by all accounts. Their best player got better, leveled up. They haven't been healthy. So this is a team that didn't have all its dogs last night. Let's be real about that. They didn't have all their dogs. Okay. So they didn't have everybody together. I don't think this is a team that's thinking like, oh my God, we lost to the Spurs twice. Oh, it's going to be tough to face them in the playoffs. No, I think that this is a team that's thinking about rounding into playoff form when that time comes, which means playing our best basketball in April, May, and June. So
what did I say? How does that like combat anything?
Because you're making it seem like it's a must-win game tomorrow, and I really don't.
OKC, I'm telling you, OKC would very much so like to win that game at home against the Spurs.
Is that breaking news?
Against a team that has beat them 2 times in a row.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just check with my sources to make sure that OKC wants to win the game tomorrow. No, they want to win the game. It's not a dire. It's not a big thing if they lose.
That's the point. It's a big time game. It's a national televised game. It's a big game on your home court. You've already lost to this team 2 times in a row. You already lost to them on another another big stage,
Yeah.
you would like to beat this team and just
Because
hey,
if they lose,
you know what I'm
if they
saying?
lose again,
Losing
if
to
they
a team
lose
three
again,
times in a
like
row,
this,
and
if they
another
lose
good
again,
team
they're
as
going to
well
miss the
in your
playoffs
conference.
possibly, and they're going to be radiating with confidence.
Within
They don't
10
want San
days,
Antonio to possibly come into
12
OKC
days.
in April and May, oozing with confidence that they know they can beat them. So
And
Part of
obviously,
OKC,
San Antonio tomorrow.
real quick. Part of OKC's allure to me, especially starting the season off, was the aura of like invincibility. They felt like they could just go around smacking everybody. They smacked the Lakers. They were smacked even without Shea. They smacked Utah. That was the perception around that team. And so the more and more, to Ox's point, the more they play these good teams, and these good teams start beating them regularly, because they just lost to Minnesota as well. They just lost to the Spurs back to back. They need to start beating some of these better teams before they lose some of that invincibility. That was the difference, in my opinion, between yes, you could say the roster of the 2017 and 2018 Golden State Warriors were different. I would agree. But what happened in 2018 is that Golden State team had lost some of that invincibility. And so as soon as Houston felt like they could compete, those turned into some very rough and tough series that went 7 games.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want people to start building confidence against your unit. Like, no, that's
especially real talk. Especially real talk. If it's a young team like San Antonio who has like pretty much no playoff experience, and now they have all this confidence at your home floor in a playoff series, that's not good for OKC. Ultimately, obviously, OKC is just going to be like, whatever, we're the champs. We're just going to, brush this off. But in the back of their heads, if we get to April and they look at the playoff standings, they're going to point to San Antonio, especially if they beat them tomorrow, is like, this is the last team I want to see.
Yo, but y'all, we're going to go ahead and transition. Real talk, speaking of Houston, what's up, Big Ox? Would you like to talk about the Clippers putting belt on them? Would you like to talk about Kawhi Leonard pulling out that big, thick Texas leather belt and putting it on the Houston Rockets? Would you guys like to talk about that?
I think it was a great. I think it was a good game.
I think the kids call it BTA.
I just think it was a great effort all around for the Clippers. I mean, James Harden had a heck of a game. Kawhi Leonard looked great regular day in the office. I mean, that's Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? He's a bum knee away from being the GOAT. We shouldn't be surprised by this.
Congratulations on the Clippers' 8th win of the season.
But with that being said, though, when you start off the game like that, man, Jabari was looking really good. KD was looking good. What's his name? Sengun was looking good. I didn't expect the lead to go that way. I thought it was going to be a pretty close game down to the wire. But it's Kawhi Leonard.
Shout outs to Kobe Sanders off the bench with 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Kobe.
50.
It's hard, Ron, because when we see the Clippers play the way they did last night, it's the Clippers we envisioned, right? We envision two of these guys carrying the offense. We envision Kawhi Leonard being healthy, having young legs, dominating in the mid-range. There was a play where James Harden gave him a pass, like he just crossed halfway, and Kawhi had sealed under the basket, like just easy offense. Like we envisioned all this stuff. Played high-level defense, got contributions from Kobe, from John Collins. Like it felt like the Clippers we were expecting. We just haven't seen those Clippers a lot this year, but when they get it going, man, they can knock off a team like Houston, who was basically fully healthy. So massive win for the Clippers, and maybe I don't know if we go there, but maybe it kickstarts some of the Ty Lue record stuff that he wants them to achieve. But they were good last night, man.
The Lakers over the weekend, so this is not like a one-off win. They also beat the Lakers, so 7-8 win this season. There you go.
But I mean, they started maybe not a great front court apart from Kawhi Leonard in what feels like 40-year-old Brook Lopez and washed John Collins. But those two guys do space the floor, so you do get some element of more spacing for Kawhi and James Harden to operate in that mid pick and roll, and I just think that is a very interesting thing to think about long term, especially when we hear rumors that they're looking to trade Ivica Zubac.
I don't know if that would be ridiculous to trade him. I mean, because being as young as he is and the impact
he's not that young,
player well, he ain't that old neither. So I mean, I still think that he's a piece that they definitely need to continue to build around. So I mean, to lose him, that basically means that you basically blowing up the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, I mean, I saw a Houston team that, I mean, they made shots early. They definitely made shots early. And then the Clippers started making shots. I know that sounds elementary, but that's absolutely what was going on. Like, we had guys like Dunn started making shots. Like, oh shit, like this is what we need. Guys like Collins making shots. James Harden getting downhill into the teeth of this defense. I thought that the Houston team, I thought that they got caught off guard with how good the Clippers could be as a unit in terms of offensively. And they also kind of forgot about who Kawhi Leonard is. And at any point,
nobody forgot who
he could
Kawhi
get going.
Leonard is, Chill. Come on.
At any point, he could get going. Like the buckets that he got and the space that he played in, it was almost like Houston allowed him to play in that space. Like, are you serious? Like, you guys forgot that when I'm good, this is where I'm the most effective. This is what I can do, and this is where I am the most effective when I'm good. And it's almost like they allowed him to get into that space because we don't think you could do that anymore. Well, I'll show you guys, and they 100% did that. He 100%.
We're about to enter 2026. That was the most points Kawhi scored since December 2023.
41. That's not like don't say like 41 is just a little bit of points. First of all, Damian, let me
ghost of Christmas past.
Let me holler at you real quick because Chill, you will do anything in your power to discredit Kawhi Leonard. They let him get to spots. They were just letting him like, oh, go ahead, Kawhi. You're not as good as you used to be. Or was he just out?
Yes.
Was he just flat out busting their ass?
No, those two things ain't the same thing. No, no. I think that they was looking at those two things are not the same thing. Hell no.
Stand on it, Chill. Stand on it.
Hell no.
Stand on it, Chill.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Hell no. They were going up against a Kawhi Leonard. They were going up against a Kawhi Leonard who, don't get me wrong, he has been playing good this year, but he's been a shell of himself. He has been, and they wasn't looking at Kawhi Leonard like Kawhi Leonard of old. They was looking at an old Kawhi Leonard.
Why did they start with the Min Thompson guarding?
Okay, he's their best defender, so he's going to guard. He's going to guard your best scorer.
Probably
okay, sure.
Chill,
He is their best. He is their best scorer.
Chill. How has he been a shell of himself? He's averaging he's averaging nearly 26 a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And shooting close to 50, 40, 90.
Yeah,
So this season,
Man,
right?
y'all
this
love
season,
to hate Kawhi. It's so
this is what you do. This is what you do, Ox. You try to sell me who Kawhi Leonard is, who you think he is in your eyes. Ox, the dude is awesome. I'm not gonna argue that point. He has been. But you trying to sell me that this dude has always been like this. No, he hasn't. He got a busted wheel. I'm not
talking about always anything. I'm talking about last night. You're trying to make it seem like they were just like, oh, Kawhi, you can do whatever you want because you're a shell of yourself. You're not averaging 26 this season. We're just gonna just let you go do anything because you're not that good anymore. That's what you're trying to sell us. I'm trying to sell y'all that he cooked anybody in front of him last night because that's what he does when he's able to do it. When his body is how it is right now, he can play good basketball. And I think we all know that, and I don't know why we try to pretend like that's not just the facts. When Kawhi Leonard can do it, he does do it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't even dispute that. My problem with it is like how often is that?
Yeah, how often
is that sustainable?
That's not the problem. Like I understand if you have an issue with like, oh well, he can't do it all the time because he's injured. That's fine. But I'm saying when he can do it, he does do it. That's all. You know?
And you know what? I do want to give a big shout out to the Los Angeles Clippers, right? Getting their casual. What did you say? Number win this year? Eighth. Oh, let me not forget the 7th. Also, picked up 2 big wins recently. The 7th and the 8th. So congrats. So you know,
that's what happens that they could when they cook the Lakers and the Rockets. It has to
I mean, you know what? And so the fact, you know what happened is because your finals and playoffs has now started in December because you were so bad in October, right? You were so horrendous.
The Lakers are missing 4 starters, brother.
So exactly.
By the way, only that.
But
anyway, you're cooked in December.
The Clippers aren't missing anybody.
I will say this, Ox. Your two teams are the Sacramento Kings and the Clippers, right? That's pretty much.
I wouldn't say the Clippers are my team.
Well, Kawhi and the Kings, right? And those are the last two teams that just beat the Houston Rockets.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me. That doesn't matter to me, Pin.
It matters to me.
It's
Real
to me.
talk?
To me, it's just basketball to me. You know, like Pin, I hear you on that. I hear you on that though. I hear you on that. And I guess you if you lose the trash teams, you must be trash. But whatever. My thing is, it's just basketball to me, Pin. I'm just enjoying watching it. You know what I'm saying? I could care. I obviously had the Clippers being much better, but if they're not, I don't care. I could just enjoy watching Kawhi Leonard play basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Kawhi's been
all right, fellas.
It don't make me nut.
Before we move on to these super chats, to finish out the show, it's one more game that we got to talk about. And this game was in the Target Center in Minneapolis, the Knicks against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Wolves won at home.
Where was it, Ron?
The Target Center.
Where was it? And where's that at again? Where
Minneapolis.
Where's
Minneapolis.
That?
Minneapolis.
Okay, that's what I thought you said because it sounded like you said something else. Okay, keep going. Ron.
No, I said Minneapolis. But
where's that? I don't know where Minneapolis is. I have no idea.
It's somewhere between Minnesota and Indianapolis.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Shout out Miniland. But the Wolves won by a score of 115 to 104, and a few characters got busy. Now, keep in mind, New York did not have Jalen Brunson, but they didn't have a problem at the point guard position. Tyler Kolek stepped in and got busy. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. Shout out Tyler Kolek. And also, Karl Anthony Towns, 40 points, 13 rebounds. Josh Hart, 12 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists too. What'd you say, Chill?
That looked personal last night. That's what that did.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was.
I hope he took that L personally too.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, Anthony Edwards had 38 points, 4 steals, and Julius Randle had 25 points, 6 rebounds. Rudy Gobert, 11 points, 16 rebounds, 3 blocks. Thoughts on this game?
Well, Ron, you remember how I felt about Donovan Mitchell, and I talk about him being the best 2 guard in the game. I got to start talking about Anthony Edwards' progression and how much better he's gotten at a lot of different things that he wasn't. So, to Penn's point, his court mapping, not only his court mapping, I got to pay attention. I paid attention a lot to him surveying the defense and his ability to pass. Like, he made a bunch of passes last night that I was impressed with. And I don't know what it is, real talk, maybe in the minority, but there's a right elbow on the floor that it looks like Anthony Edwards is falling in love with. And it looks like when he gets to that spot, it looked like it's money. And I'm loving every bit of it. So I'm liking the transformation of Anthony Edwards' game. He's just getting better as time goes on. And he was great last night. On top of that, Ron, can we acknowledge the adult on the New York Knicks, who is not Cat, but that point guard that they got in Kolek? That's a grown-up. Like, a lot of people look at him like with the baby. No, that's a grown-up. He was the best point guard in the country coming out of college. He understands the game. I thought he did a great job in taking care of the ball. I thought he did a great job in getting downhill and navigating that offense. I just thought that I felt like the Knicks, their rotation guys weren't as good as Minnesota's yesterday. That was the difference in the game. And the rebounding is what killed them.
For me, Anthony Edwards right now is the best show in the league for me personally. These players, he's becoming what the face of the league has been kind of since Jordan, maybe discounting like Shaq, but like the 2-3 guard wing who is combining great skills with unique athleticism, right? He's probably the best blend of the two right now. So he has like the skills. You see the handle that he's developed over the years. You see the pull-up 3 that he's developed. You see the post-up work that he has now. You see the mid-range game that he has. But what also just makes him a great watch is the eye-popping athleticism. You see him. There was a play, Chill, where he chases Mikal Bridges over the screen, right? He does his job as an off-ball defender, you know, the stuff that everybody says he can't do. Navigates the screen well, stays attached, and then gets the stick, like, and then goes and punches it on the other end. Like, his athleticism, the skill, it to me is the best show in basketball right now. And many of y'all know I have him as a top 5 player in the association right now. He, proved that yet again to me last night.
Who's your top 5?
My top 5 is Shea, in no specific order. My top 5 is Shea, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and
that's a nice 5.
It's a nice 5. Nice 5. But I think, Chill, to your point, if you don't watch the games, you can't see Anthony Edwards' development the way you should see it. Like, you can look at the box score and he's got 40, he's got 38. But when you see the decision making, when you see that he turns the ball over less, when you see he's not running over guys, when you see from the elbow he's using the glass, all these different little nuances means that this man's maturing, his game's maturing. But I take your point as well to Tyler Cole. Like, he's turning into one of the best stories in the league this season. So I love to see those guys emerge. But unfortunate for Cat as well. Cat's best game of the season, but resulted in a loss. So,
Ox, can I interest you? Because somebody put this on my mind. Ox, can I interest you in Tyler Kolek / TJ McConnell? Because that's kind of what it's looking like to me. It's kind of looking like a dude that comes off the bench and the ship keeps going. Like, we don't lose anything. We don't lose as much. We still rolling. Sometimes it'll be a bit, precarious where he might not take care of basketball, but it won't be to the detriment of us. Like, he ain't killing us. Like,
is he that level of defender?
No. But I tell you what he will do. He'll compete. He 100% will compete. He doesn't die on screens. His hands his hands stay busy. He's not as smart as TJ McConnell is. No, he's not that. Like, his anticipatory skills aren't there, but he definitely will compete. He's not a cone. He will not just die on screens. He will not just give up on plays. He will definitely try to recover. So I think to be honest with you, Ox, I think there's plenty of teams come trade deadline run that's picking up the telephone and nudging the Knicks like, yo, how y'all feel about the young guy? Because
is he available?
Like, why would the Knicks cough that up?
Probably not.
He might be.
But they'll get calls on him for sure.
Yes, they will.
Who's calling the Knicks? I think the Knicks were definitely not interested in shipping anyone, considering that they could very much win the title.
That's why you call, though, Casual. That's why you call.
Exactly.
That's why you call, because they're not going to tell you, hey, you can have Tyler Kolek. You got to call and ask.
Yeah, I do agree to Real Talk's point. That was a face of the league game from Anthony Edwards. It does very much feel like – I wish that game was on TV last night where more people could have watched it. It does very much feel like he's an MVP or a finals away from actually being the face of the league. He's got the shoes, the commercials. People like him for the most part. Unlike some of the better players in the league, they don't really like their personalities. But the 38 – the next step in his game was always like, can he pass out of double teams? Can he make the right read? He's getting a lot better at doing that. It does feel like he was knocking on the door those last 2 years. If he can get like an MVP or a championship, this is the next face of the league. Because he's going to remind so many people of like MJ, Kobe, just the athleticism, the two-guard position, the two-way ability, and he's just a fun watch. That is a fun 38 points. Some of these star players like a Tatum, no offense, it's low-key a boring 38. That is a fun 38. And it does feel like to be the face of the league, you need a couple accolades, and that's across all sports. If he can get a few, it's Anthony Edwards for the taking.
It's crazy that he's saying this, but when I said that we're in year 2 of year 5, that I think he's going to be the best guard in the league. I don't think he's going to be the best 2 guard. I think he's going to be the best guard in the league. Y'all jumped me like I was getting initiated into the Bloods.
I don't.
Casual never said that.
I don't.
But Casual didn't say that. He said he'll be the face of the league. You don't have to be the best player in the league to be the face of the league.
That is true. That is true. They usually go inside, but you don't have to. You don't.
Well, wait. Let me ask him though. Let's figure it out. Do you think over the next 3 years, Ant will be better than SGA?
No.
That can happen. That is on the table.
Why is that ridiculous?
It's not unrealistic,
That's
but
number
probably
one.
not. But it's unrealistic.
Do you think he'll be better
Is he
than
going to be
Luka?
better than Wemby though? No.
He might be better than Luka after this season.
Over the next 3
God.
seasons, do you think he'll be better than Luka?
It's on the table.
That's on the table for sure.
I don't know if he
I'm not
will.
saying it's off the
That's been
table.
on the,
I'll take yes
that's been
on
on the
that.
table
I wanna
for the
take
past
yes
2
on that.
seasons.
It's
That's
definitely
been
on
on
the
the
table.
table. I was trying to tell you that, Real Talk. It's been on the table. But
I am a believer of Anthony
Now that
Edwards.
you done switched up on Luka, now.
No, I'm not switching up on. No,
I think
I am a believer of Anthony Edwards because
and
he
Luka's
has.
close this year, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been close.
When I say it though, I'm a hater. What Anthony Edwards has against the Lukas and the Shays of the world is if he can continue to get better as far as his skill level and his understanding of the game.
Yeah.
What takes him over them is the generational athleticism that they don't possess. Yeah. That gives him more access to stuff on the court and in the game than those two. That is the athleticism is a lot of times what separates the greats from the all-time greats, right? It's not going
to be a better defender than
a mistake. As well. Yeah, it's not a mistake that LeBron and MJ are considered the GOATs. Yes, their skill sets are amazing, but it's also because what takes them over the top is their S-tier athletes on top of it. And that's what Anthony Edwards has. So I think his ceiling is definitely could be up there with an SGA, with the Luka Doncic, because of his S-tier athleticism, if you combine that with the skill. Absolutely.
Why y'all letting Ron? Really quickly, Damian, I promise, really quickly. Ron, guards in the league. And since you've been watching the NBA, guards in the league that have been the face of the league. Name them. Name the guards in the league that have been the face of the league since you've been watching.
Jordan, Kobe,
best player in the league.
Steph.
Best player in the league. Best player in the league.
What year is Kobe the best player in the league?
Exactly.
We're not finna do this.
But are we going to do this real talk? Are we going to do this real talk?
2004 to 2009.
Okay. Best player in the league. Keep going.
Okay.
And Steph.
Okay. So
but Steph was never the best player in the league.
Okay. He was never undisputed the best player in the league.
But you could be like number two. You could be like the best player in the league.
There was definitely the conversation that Steph was the best player in the league. I say that to say, to Casual's point, if Anthony Edwards ends up winning the league MVP and winning an NBA championship within the next 3 to 4 years, Ron, especially the way he's playing and becoming the face of the league, I promise you there is going to be real conversation that he is the best player in the league. Not the best guard in the league, the best player in the league.
Yeah. Chill, here's my thing, which I'm not saying that I do agree with Real Talk. I'm a little lower on Anthony Edwards than you guys, but I do agree on Real Talk where if everything works out, he could potentially peak just as high as these guys, and he could enter that all-time great conversation. But I do want to say Jason Tatum won a championship.
Yeah, but
he got all NBA 3-4 teams in a row.
And Jason Tatum's not a fun electric watch.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I'm not talking about face of the league. I'm not talking about face of the league. I'm talking about best player in the league. I'm talking about he won a championship. He got all NBA 4 years in a row, 3 years in a row, whatever it was. He never sniffed the best player in the league conversation. Anthony Edwards can do the same thing and never sniff the best player in the league convo. I just don't know if we'll get there.
Ron, with Ron as well, especially like after this season, it's going to be hard to be the best player in the league when Wemby's going to continue to get better. I think that's going to be really difficult. Like face of the league, best in the world. I think it's going to be hard when Wemby's getting better and better.
It'll be a cheat code, Damian.
How is Wemby going to get better at what?
At defense.
No, he's got a lot. He's got a lot to grow offensively, I think.
Yeah. At offense.
But I think if we're staying on Ant, my thing was
shooting guard.
My thing with Ant was I was really impressed with Ant in the OKC game. In the clutch, when he can hit threes, when he can get to the rim, when he can also lock up the other team's best player. Real talk, to your point, that's what made LeBron so good. That's what made Kawhi Leonard so good in his prime. That's why we were so impressed with Kevin Durant when he went to Golden State, because the two-way stuff can put some of these guys over the edge. Man, if Anthony Edwards can be that, then we can start having some crazy conversations, man.
Yeah, and I want to dispel something very quick. We have to get off this Anthony Edwards lack of playmaking talking point that if you're watching the game is so outdated. When I originally made my top 5 offensive player list that Ron asked me, and I said, Ant, my argument was Ant is drawing so much attention. When you watch them play, bro. They're gap helping with Ant. They're pre-rotating as well. Like he's shifting the entirety of that defense. And then all of a sudden, Ron puts in the chat this stat, which I don't know exactly what it is. And stats are not all encompassing, but Ant was like number 3 on the list as this gravity stat that Ron put up. Like if you watch him play,
I'll go ahead.
He bends defenses, and you don't even when you bend defenses to that extent, you don't have to be this S-level tier passer because the passes are simple. When you bend the defense that much, the guy right next to you is wide open. But make that pass. It's not a hard pass. Or a lot of the times what you see happening in Minnesota is Ant gets a lot of hockey assists. So he'll make the read, he'll pass it to the open player, and then the defense rotates, they make the extra pass, and then boom, you get a shot. Like if you watch Minnesota play, he's generating a lot of good offense for that team. I really don't understand the Ant playmaking point these days.
All right, well, let me go ahead and share this on the screen. This is something that the NBA has recently introduced, and this is what it is. It's the gravity leaderboard, and according to the caption on this post, it quantifies which players bend the defenses the most. It sounds like something that was taken off of a conversation that we've had here on the panel, but I don't know. We've talked about a lot of gravity, and we've talked about a lot of bending of the defense. But shout out to Amazon Web Services. Maybe they are tapped into the panel. Maybe they do hear our conversations. Either way, this is what the leaderboard looks like. 19.9 from Steph Curry. He is number 1, and he is at the top of the league in terms of gravity and bending defenses. At number 2, lo and behold, who would have thought? Kevin Durant's gravity is still at an all-time high, 17.3. He's number 2 in the league. At number 3, to Real Talk's point, at 17.1, Ant-Man Anthony Edwards is number 3. At number 4, yes, you guessed it, Luka Doncic, 16.1 at number 4. And last but not least, at number 5, we have James Harden at 15.1. Do we have any context as to what exactly this may mean?
What are they measuring? What does 19.9 mean? Can someone just help me out here?
They had an example play.
Chill's gonna love this one with the AI, man.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, wait.
What does 19.9 mean? Does that mean 19.9 times you bend a defense per game?
Oh, here's the explanation for it.
This is some.
So introducing gravity, a new stat powered by AI that shows who pulls the defense above expectation, tracks defensive pressure on and off the ball. Season-long averages reveal the NBA's biggest gravity creators.
This kind of seems like a subjective stat in a sense, no?
Yes. Who pulls
so essentially
what does pull defense mean to AI?
What does that mean? AI don't know. AI don't know what good defense is. Here, they don't know. This shit is dumb.
They're essentially tracking how much a defense is loading to a single player. So, for example, Kevin Durant's on there because he might be in a lineup with a bunch of non-shooters. So the defense is gravitating towards him a lot because they're filling the gaps, they're helping on the weak side, stuff like that. Curry's one's interesting because it also tracks off the ball stuff. So when they talk about guys picking up Curry from just after half court, somehow this AI is tracking that, which is why he's got the most, because that happens basically exclusively the whole game. So Curry's probably always going to lead this. I mean, contextually as well, James Harden, he's sort of been their only offense the whole year, which is why he's probably on there as well, when we probably don't think about him in that way that much anymore. You know what I mean? Except for last night, obviously. But since Kawhi's been back, but very interesting stat.
I don't hate this. I actually don't hate this as much as I want to. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I want to hate this a lot more than I do, because gravity isn't.
Do you know what I like about it? Ox? We've never had something tangible to measure how much Steph Curry bends the defense. Like we see it with our eyes, but we've probably never had a stat. And we talk to Ron's point about the word gravity, but we've never had a stat that tracks.
See, but that's the problem.
Maybe
that's
this
the
is a cool answer
there,
for some of them.
That's my issue, though. There is no stat. You can't quantify gravity like that. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much that goes into it. I think gravity is something that has to be purely eye test, because you can't. There is no exact formula. Whatever formula they're using is completely inaccurate, and not completely inaccurate. I'm sorry. It has tons of inaccuracies, and there's flaws to whatever formula you're using to track and quantify gravity. You just can't do it. You can't do it. I think this is something that should be left to the eye test more than numbers and stats. So while I think gravity is very important. That's why I don't hate this as much as I want to hate it.
But isn't an eye test also like
Flawed.
prone to making errors?
Not
Right?
if you know ball. Not if you know ball. Wait a second. I'm
No,
sorry.
even
No.
if you know ball, you can make
Wait.
mistakes.
Let me take that back. Let me take it back. We're talking. Let me take it back because I'm about to. Let me take it back. Yes, it is flawed, Pin. Yes, it is. It is absolutely flawed. But if you know what you're looking at, it's less flawed than depending on an inaccurate formula.
But
The
I
first
think Ox, you're
mention
alluding
ever.
to.
Sorry, Damien.
I was
The
gonna say,
first mention that I've ever heard
Okay.
of the word gravity as it pertains to basketball was on NBA Storyteller. It's like one of my favorite YouTube content creators. And he talked about Steph Curry's gravity being like this great force. And that's when I started thinking about gravity in a basketball sense. And I think it makes a lot of sense. When Kawhi Leonard grabs the ball at the same place that Keldon Johnson grabs the ball, the defense reacts very differently to those two players catching the ball based on who they are. And that has to matter when the point is making your teammates better.
It does matter, Pin. It does matter. Pin, it matters 100%. I'm for gravity. I believe in gravity. I think gravity exists.
But what if tracking
100%,
data?
But I think tracking it is where we're having a problem.
Well, here's the thing.
This goes back to what Drench was saying the other day. You know what I'm saying? We're trying.
But
We are trying to put numbers on it to. I don't want to say that because I just don't like the way you put it.
Nah, say it.
But there's some shit that's not for everybody. Okay, if you have to put a number on it, it's not. I'm not saying that you don't understand it, but I'm saying it's just not gonna be an accurate number. Pin. That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be an accurate number.
But look at
this is something that you have to understand.
But here's the thing, Ox. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be better, right? Like the iPhone 3 did not have to be perfect for it to be a doorway to us getting a better phone, right? It's not a perfect phone. The Pixel 7 is not a perfect phone. The Mac 7 is not a perfect computer. Like my point is,
Everything
this is
doesn't have to be have to be charted.
But it's the same conversation that we were having with the tanking thing. It doesn't have to be the perfect situation. It just has to be better than the one we have. So what we talk about a lot with, bending defenses. I think people who know basketball have been talking about, scoring force, rim pressure, all these things a lot. You don't have to be a genius to know that Shaquille O'Neal getting on the court and grabbing the ball 2 feet from the basket is going to shatter the defense, because it does every time. The entire floor bends towards him. So
those are the easy ones, though.
Well, of course, but then how do you quantify Eddie Curry versus Michael Olowokandi? You know what I mean?
That's the problem. You don't. Y'all want to conquer basketball so bad.
But it's not about conquering.
This is not y'all got now. Don't take this the wrong way, Pin, because I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people in general. Y'all want to oppress and control basketball. Y'all want to conquer this unconquerable
Is that what
thing.
I'm doing?
Not you, Pin.
No,
I just said I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people in general. We
I-
want to
but I-
control. We want to control something that's uncontrollable. We can't own basketball.
That's the wrong
Real talking, Damien. Real talking, Damien. Make your final points, and then we got to get to these super chats, y'all.
That to me, like I get what's like when what you and Jordan be talking about, right? As far as like, trying to put a number to everything and trying to quantify everything. But I think I have the wrong point of view of that as far as like the purpose of it and what it's fulfilling. Like, yes, of course, I don't think the answer is ever look at a stat and have the stats replace you watching the games. Like that's never the purpose, in my opinion. The purpose is like Penn is saying, we don't have anything but people saying we watch it as far as capturing the effect of bending defenses or whatnot. Like, we don't have anything that tracks that. So I'm never mad at anybody or anything trying to, encapsulate what that is and show us how this is impacting the game, or this is how we're trying to track said gravity. If you look at the top of the list, right, does it sometimes the numbers do match our eye test? Number one is Steph Curry. Has he not to us been the guy that kind of stresses defenses more than anybody else in the league for some time now? James Harden on this is on the list because the Clippers outside of him, especially early on in the year, couldn't score. So obviously James was seeing a lot of traps, probably seeing a lot of double teams because people couldn't shoot. So like it's matching up somewhat with the eye test of either or aren't going to be 100% proof, right? But you should never get upset with the attempt to quantify something for better understanding and for like actual data and proof.
Can I say why? Can I real quick, because you're going to add on top of that, Penn, and I'm not going to be able to speak to both of them. I just want to say the reason why, real talk, I'm against it is because it's going to be used. It's not going to be used for
instead
good.
of
It's going to be used as a way for us to talk about basketball, and people are going to throw these gravity numbers. Well, his gravity is 17.8 compared to his gravity being. You don't what? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you getting these numbers from? You're getting these numbers from inaccurate formulas. And why I think if anything, real talk, I think it could be something like a tier where these guys are this tier of gravity. These guys are this tier of gravity. We got A tier gravity, B tier gravity, C tier. You're putting exact numbers on it. It's going to be used in things like the PCL. It's gonna, which isn't a great thing. The PCL, the best debate league there ever was. We can't be throwing gravity numbers out there and us acting like these gravity numbers are accurate. But
just like a gravity stat can be misleading, so could your eye test though. Like both are going to be flawed. You just appreciate one of the flaws more than you appreciate the other, I guess.
No. Maps are inaccurate.
See, that's
right?
the thing. That's the thing right there. I already said that I think both are flawed to a certain extent. Yeah. But when you put a number on it, you give it credit. You get people act like that's a reliable source because you put a number on it. Now people are going to go with that as if it's real. When in all actuality, we have to stop trying to conquer these things. It's like you can't. There's certain things in the regular world, the real world, that you just can't measure. You know what I mean? And at some point, we have to accept that we can't measure it. Humans have this thing where we want to explore everything. We want to control everything. We want to write about everything. We want to say that we are are on top of everything. We're the top of the food chain. We have to accept that basketball is one of those things where we don't get everything, and we're not going to. Let's speak about it without it being so definite. That the gravity thing is not so definite. I've heard times where people up here said, when you watch basketball games, you don't really know what's going on because you're just watching the ball. And I'm sitting there like, that's how y'all watch basketball? I didn't know that. I'm seeing the whole floor. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think we all have different ways of looking at it. We have to stop trying to put a number on everything, real talk. There's no possible way that this formula is accurate. No possible way.
Hold on, fellas. We got to move on. So I'm gonna let Damian give his take on this, and then we got to move on. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think. Real talk to your point. I'm never against us trying to tell a better story with the game, right? But to Ox, your point as well. I think we saw the rise of analytics really explode in sort of the middle of 2010s, and today a lot of people think the game is worse. So I think that we have to be careful potentially by introducing AI, especially. Has to be done carefully, and we have to make sure we have the right sort of data we're pulling it from and formulas and things of that nature, because it can get messy very, very quickly.
Ox, I think you need to get with the times, though, man.
With Ron, it's bad enough that they're trying to gentrify basketball, now they're trying to colonize it.
Yeah, that's what comes with it.
It's too late for that. It's too late for that. That's already happened.
The real problem though is how everybody is secretly getting us used to and accustomed to AI being part of everyday life. But that's another conversation for another day.
All right, well, we gonna go ahead and get.
They're trying to replace our wives. They're trying to replace our wives. They put robots in the house.
Hey, some of them women need to be replaced.
I saw that movie. I saw that movie.
The one with what's her name? Megan Fox.
Yeah, I realize we have
Make
to
it
move
fuck
on, but I
fiasco.
just
Hey,
want
Ox,
to let y'all know
ask
the
it
maps
for a
are not
friend.
accurate. Y'all
Hey,
know
Ox,
the
ask it
maps
for a
are
friend.
not
Where
accurate?
can you find those at?
I don't know. Never seen.
All
it.
right, all right. I'll tell my friend I still don't know. But all right, we're gonna get into a super chat from SMN R&DM. It's actually a 2-part super chat. SMN said, "Real talk exaggerates, but even I am frustrated with Luka. However, you need to understand the Lakers are in this position because of Luka. Roster is insanely flawed. I didn't even think they would make the playoffs." And then he said, I want to add Austin Reeves as well. He's played at an insane level before the injury, so he has a lot to do with the Lakers' position. But the point still stands. This is not a top 6 roster.
You know, I've been getting killed on Laker Twitter and whatnot, Luka fan base Twitter, because I'm realistic about this team. And, you know, apparently when I speak the truth, I'm not a Laker fan because I don't fanboy over them and be unrealistic and say, "Oh, this team is great because of the record." Like, no, this team is mid, brother. It's roster's mid.
All that
Anyone
Maybelline,
really think
all
the
that
Lakers
lipstick
were a
got
great
y'all
team,
thinking
though,
that's
even
something
though they
else.
were losing? Did
Yay.
anyone actually think the Lakers were a
That
great
wig
team?
got
Hold
you
on,
thinking that shit something else. I'm sorry.
Say that again, Casual.
I just said, did anyone ever think the Lakers were actually a great team, even though they were winning?
Well, there are people that think because they're now we're 19-8 that they thought that meant
Yes,
something.
I think the Lakers.
Well, I think it does mean something. I think that means the Lakers could likely host a home playoff series in the first round to win 50 games, and that's good. That's better than being in the play-in. The Lakers spent like 4 years in the play-in. I'll take this over just watching them be the 7th seed every year.
What I know for a fact, Ron, is when you walk into a gym and you see a team, okay, there go my bucket getter, bam. Okay, there's my rebounder, bam. Okay, there's my distributor, bam. There's my dirty work guy, bam. Where the dudes that run fast and jump high? Where them dudes at? Because I'm looking for them. Where them dudes at? Where the dudes that run fast and jump high? Because we ain't got none of those.
None of them.
We ain't got none of them.
Get those guys in the draft, and the Lakers haven't had as many draft picks in recent years. They did draft Thiero. Let's see what he turns into.
Can somebody tell me what Dalton Connect does positively on the basketball court?
He's supposed to shoot. He's supposed to be a shooter.
He's going at the deadline, man.
On Connect.
He's going at the deadline.
When the Lakers need
All right. The next super chat is from Pimp named Slickback. Nets have a 102.5 defensive rating in December, best in the NBA, and 106, second best the last 14 games. Igor, the Russian sniper, with clutch buckets. Clowney balled. MPJ is an all-star. Jordy said, "F your tank."
They've been amazing.
All I know is watching
great,
Brooklyn and in Philly last night is Joel Embiid is that car that you know that you're going to have to replace. At some point, I got to get rid of this ride. It's coming up as quick. It's coming up faster than what I realized. Like, I know that it got some problems, but at some point, this thing is going to break down on the highway, and I'm going to be stuck.
You've been to the body shop one too many times.
I have been. This thing is going to break down on the highway, and I'm going to be stuck.
It's broken down on you
when you owe $65,000 on a car and your car note is $800 a month and your credit is $480, you can't trade that shit in.
I can't trade that shit.
You can't always play the reputation or the record. The Nets have played really great basketball. Like,
break the Nets up, Pin. Break up the Nets, Pin.
Yo, they got long wing defenders. Igor Demon shooting like 43% from three over the last handful of games. This front office, I said it like this offseason. I really believe in this front office. There used to be a time, Chill, when like 6-7 teams didn't know what the hell they were doing. Right now, maybe there's one, the Washington Wizards. That's about it. Everybody else is inspiring a little bit of confidence in me. And like, I really like what this Brooklyn Nets team did at the draft. I do like Danny Wolf. I really love Day'Ron Sharpe. They've got something here, and Michael Porter Jr. has been really balling like an all-star for them. Really amazing. It's very. I have humble pie. I did not expect this. So
me as well.
Yeah, they're playing great.
Still gonna pick top 5 though. But the next super chat is from Pimp named Slickback. Pimp said, "It's funny to me how people don't want to trust the numbers for sports, yet you trust the numbers when you log your banking information, when you get on the plane, and when you use telecommunication."
Well, this is the thing. Like I was trying to say this earlier. Do you realize that maps are not accurate? the map that you see, the global world or whatever. Sorry, I don't know what the hell you're doing here, Ron.
I don't know what you're doing either.
The globe is spherical. The map is flat. It's never accurate. America's map is not accurate. How big America looks next to Australia is not accurate. Like, it's just the distorted way that we draw maps.
I use a
right?
map. I get to where I'm going.
What the hell did I got to do with anything? I
get to where I'm going.
What I'm saying is the number
intellectual
is not
curiosity.
no, but it's it's not accurate. But you still teach kids to use the atlas, right? You still teach kids that this is.
Who?
You never shown your kids an atlas?
I don't think I've opened up an atlas.
I saw my kids where things. I saw my kids where things are. I mean, we're pretty good at geography. The size of things might not be accurate, but where they are is pretty accurate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, relatively speaking, but that's kind of the point. People still took the time to draw maps, even though they weren't 100% accurate. No map is 100% accurate.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because we got places to go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they're inaccurate.
We got shit to talk about.
Maps are inaccurate.
We got shit to talk about.
That's
it's not like they drew the map and they were just wrong, like on accident.
Right.
They drew the maps for a reason.
They put it pretty, pretty accurate. It's accurate enough to we know where stuff is. Now, is Africa much bigger in comparison to other things than it is on the map? Yes, but we all know what that's about. That's because somebody had to colonize, like y'all trying to do the basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's inaccurate.
The next super chat is from Jonathan Frazier, the Jonathan Frazier. Jonathan said, "Merry Christmas, fellas. Real talk. Is Ball Don't Lie on today? I need to apologize to you for calling you out on the Luka hate. Them niggas is dirt, yo."
I don't know if there is, but yes. People will come around. I was early, not wrong. I
told y'all yesterday, real talk is the dude that's going to tell you that you got something in your teeth. Real talk is the dude that's going to tell you that, yo, she ain't it. Stop messing with her. That's who real talk is. But you the dumbass friend that's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. She's dope. And then you find out that your bank account is empty, and you like, damn, I should have listened to real talk. He was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Damien.
Merry Christmas,
Damien. All right, Damien.
See you then, man.
Merry Christmas, man.
Is it already Christmas in Australia?
100 degrees during Christmas.
Am I tripping? They're ahead, right?
Huh? Which is
it is. It's this Christmas there.
It's morning time over there.
The first place to see the sun. It's New Zealand. You know what I'm saying? The day starts in New Zealand, which is right there. If you look at the map,
you just being psyoped.
No, if you look at the map pin, New Zealand's right there next to Australia. It's a little east of Australia, but
yeah, but you just
that's when the day starts.
But you just being psyoped because
I'm getting psyoped every time I watch basketball. I can get psyoped.
Yeah, you getting psyoped. Like the sun shines first in Alaska. We all know that. It starts at the North Pole. Come on now.
I think the sun rises and sets on California. I don't know about anything else, but.
Yeah, Mr. Aboriginal.
We are the center of the universe.
Oh, God. Mr. Aboriginal. Hey, what's the difference between California and New York? It's not. What? Mr. Aboriginal said, put some respect. Okay. No, I'm talking about the egos.
Put some respect on what, Ron? Put some respect
on California.
What's the difference? New York better. New York better. Go New York.
You see what I'm saying? Mr. Aboriginal said, put some respect on the Pistons. Best team in the East. You still think Cade isn't great? A great defender pin? Also, I think the Spurs figured out OKC.
No, I still don't think he's a great defender. I'm sorry. I also don't think he's a great rim finisher. I don't think he's a great shooter, but I think he's a good player. He's a really good player. And they're an awesome team.
Is he better than Scotty Barnes?
Nope.
No offense to the Pistons. When's the last time the Pistons had like a signature win?
What is that after the 21 of them that they had
last night?
The 22.
Ron, we don't do
every win is signature.
Ron, we didn't do the fast breakdown today.
In the bottom corners, casual and real talk up here trying to act like these wins don't matter. Oh, they beat this team. This their first.
You were up here 30 minutes ago. You were just talking about OKC strength of schedule.
Yeah.
You were.
No, I was 100%. I did that. But that's a little different from what you and casual keep trying to do.
I know we're not doing the fast breakdown today, but I just want to remind you that Scotty Barnes outscored Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell last night together. Embarrassing.
That means that they have
embarrassing.
Bad nights. That's what
they
that
beat
means.
the Celtics last week, though. Casual. That was a good win.
Celtics are.
Yeah, they had a bad night for a reason because the DPOY was on the other end.
I think the Knicks are the best team in the East, though.
Fuck out of here.
But shout out to the Pistons, though. They're good.
The Knicks are the best team in the East.
SMNRNDM said, I want to clarify. I agree with Real Talk. While I am not as low as him on Luka's play, my main issue is results and schedule. His results and schedule made people believe this roster is better than it is.
I have Luka as the fourth best player playing right now in the league. I don't know how low on him. I was at low. It's not playing better than Jokic. It's not.
You don't have him as the best player in the league. That's why. That's the problem. Real talk. You don't think he's the best player in the league. So because you don't think he's the best player in the league, you're a hater.
I just point out his flaws. He's a flawed player. It's fine.
That's all. That's it. Ron, I got to bounce, brother, fellas. I will see y'all tomorrow.
All right,
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
All right, chill.
Yes, sir.
I have a new amazing super chat that I want to read from Mavs Fan 06. Mavs Fan 06 said, Penn can't stand that Cooper Flagg is better than Scotty already at 19. Quit hating, Penn. Let me guess. Nuggets don't have rim protection, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, you said it, not me, Mavs Fan 06. You got some issues if you think Cooper Flagg is better than Scotty Barnes right now.
Do you think do you think Scotty's a better offensive player than Cooper Flagg?
100% I do, yeah. I do.
You think Scotty, who's a better scorer, Cooper Flagg or Scotty?
Scotty.
Okay.
He is clearly a better scorer.
Who do you think?
No, what I think doesn't matter. I just wanted to get the opinion.
It matters to me.
Scotty can be better now, but a year ago from now, Cooper Flagg's going to be the better player. So
I mean, that may happen, right? But I mean, I'm pretty sure if I asked you in 2021 who's going to be better in 2025, Cade or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you'd be like, oh, within 1 year, Cade's going to be better than him, and he's not. So I mean, I think Cooper is the better prospect for sure. Coming out of Florida State versus coming out of Duke, no question. Cooper is younger. Cooper is better at the same age. But that being said, like we don't know what this turns into. We really don't. What I can tell you right now is Scotty is one of the top 5 defenders in the NBA right now. He's one of the top 5 defenders in the NBA. Every single time they doubled him last night, he dissected the living shit out of them. He is a better passer than Cooper. He is a better defender than Cooper. And right now he's shooting better than Cooper and he's scoring more than Cooper. So will Cooper become better? Probably, it could happen. If someone asked me right now, who's going to be a better player in 5 years, Scotty Barnes or AJ DeBonsa? Logically speaking, probably AJ DeBonsa, but I trust Scotty's work, man. People that I remember when he got drafted, people said in his prime, he might average 15 points per game, as a rookie. So let's just be honest. Everyone's been wrong about Scotty Barnes. Everyone but me. So we're gonna trust the guy who's been right.
You're also wrong about Scotty Barnes. I think you overvalue him. But I also just think how it's funny how for you Cooper Flagg was about to be a mixture of Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Garnett in his future until it had to be compared to Scotty Barnes, and then we don't know what Cooper Flagg.
But I think Scotty Barnes is a combination of those same players as well. So
I don't think it's crazy to say by the end of the season Coop's going to be better.
I don't think it's crazy to say right
now. He's
a
better offensive player than Scotty Barnes right now.
I don't think that's crazy to say.
Do you fight that, Pin?
I don't think that's crazy to say. What it is. Might be living in the moment a little bit here, but I don't think that's crazy to say.
Of course, that's wrong. I mean,
you fight that?
Of course. The
thing is, Scotty Barnes is a good player, but at the end of the day, he's like a fringe all-star, right? Like, what do we, this is not like this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is not like a guy in MVP talks. At the end of the day,
I think we can just agree that you think a lot more sliced bread than I do. But I mean, look, man, between all of us, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not even trying to be condescending. I've watched more Scotty Barnes over the last 5 years than all 4 of you combined. So I'm gonna trust my opinion.
No one's tuning in for Scotty Barnes.
That doesn't mean your opinion is correct.
Oh my God!
That could actually
casual living up to his name.
You might have a bias towards Scotty Barnes.
Sorry, I'm not tuning in for Scotty Barnes.
I mean, that's cool.
All right, so
and that's cool. But casual. Here's a fact for you to take to the barbershop. Scotty Barnes leads the entire league in stocks.
Cool.
The entire league.
Wait, what does that
Like,
mean, Payne? What does that mean?
Who cares?
Steals
And we
blocks.
all really
you
know
said
that
stocks.
he only
Oh, you
leads
said
that because
stocks.
Wemby's
Okay.
been out. We all know he only leads that because Wemby's been
Well, even
out.
if that
Oh
was
my
the case,
God!
though,
He
that
only
mean he'd be
leads that
number
because a
2.
generational defender's been out. Has Chet Holmgren played basketball?
Okay, so who cares?
Asar Thompson playing basketball? Amen Thompson playing basketball?
And we care about for real.
Man, y'all.
Stocks.
Let's just be real.
Scotty
care about
Barnes is
stocks?
good because Scotty Barnes will help your team win in the margins. That's why he's a really good
Next
Win in the
super
margins,
chat.
my ass,
Yup.
man.
Bradley
player. He rebounds and
Beaumont
defends. Winning in
sent
the
through a
margins.
super chat and said the Spurs getting Wemby was great. Wemby in Portland would have ruined his career.
Oh my
Same
God.
with Tatum and Brown to the Celtics rather than the Nets.
You're telling me Victor
Sure.
Wembanyama would have just died in Portland? That talent, that's an indictment on his talent rather than Portland. Like that, he is too good to just fall off if he went to Portland.
You know who else was too good to fall off because they went to Portland? Sam Bowie. You know who else was too good to fall off because they went
He
to
got
Portland?
hurt.
Greg Oden. You know who else?
He got
was
hurt.
too
those guys
good
got
to-
hurt. What?
He got hurt.
He's blaming
And
the
it-
Portland Trailblazers
Like
for this.
For them
casual,
getting hurt?
here's the problem. This entire conversation comes down to this is what happened, and this is the
Damian
only way
Lillard
it
turned
could have
that
happened.
franchise around. Clyde Drexler turned that franchise around. Like
So we're bringing up
I
front
think
offices
sometimes
from
when a player
35
fails,
years
the
ago to win a
organization
point.
gets too
Okay,
much
cool.
pull.
Damian
sometimes
Lillard turned out to be a really good player in Portland.
They're just not
Like,
getting
all-
Overall, y'all overall, Portland is not a bad franchise.
Portland's had
Like,
Hall of Fame players.
You know what I'm saying? Like Portland
Hall of Fame
historically is not
players.
a bad franchise.
Portland's all right.
Damian Lillard, Bill Walton, Clyde Drexler. Those guys all like took them to the playoffs every year and they thrived.
I would say
That's
they're
40
somewhere-
years
as
of history
as
right
far
there.
As far as franchises go, I would say Portland's probably somewhere like in the middle of the pack.
They're
I
middle
wouldn't
pack.
Put them at the, they're not like the
Yo.
worst, you know.
Yo, y'all remember James Najee got drafted to where did he go to the Lakers? Or no, Damo wanted him to go to the Lakers. Where did he get drafted to?
What-
He was in the 2023 draft. He was the number 31 pick.
I don't care about number 31 picks, Ron. I only care about top
So-
4 picks.
So James Najee, he played for Barcelona. He's already been drafted in number 31. He just committed to Baylor. It is a crazy basketball world that we live in.
Yeah, they still have their eligibility. Yeah.
Say
He
what?
played for Barcelona, was
How old is he?
already drafted. He was drafted at like 18. He was like crazy young. So I don't know exactly how old he is, but I
He
know
was
he just
drafted
committed to Baylor.
31st, right? He was drafted 31st in 2003 by the Detroit Pistons. What the hell? He just signed with what?
He just committed to Baylor.
For
I mean,
what?
this is the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like the,
NIL opportunity. Get his name
Hey,
back
college,
out
college,
there.
Maybe-
college
maybe-
sports, are-
maybe-
college sports are
Can he
cooked,
get
y'all. We know
redrafted?
this.
No, I don't think so.
So what? He would just be a free agent then, or he would have to go report to the Pistons.
I would assume so.
You can
yeah.
enter your name in the draft whenever, I think.
No,
much.
you can't.
He's already
Whatever,
drafted.
man, whatever happened to
Once
amateur
you've
rights,
been
yo?
drafted, you exhaust your eligibility. There's
Okay.
also automatic eligibility. Ron, you may not know this. Do you know that you were once draft eligible?
I'm still draft eligible.
No, you're not. But do you know at some point you
I
were
got
draft
drafted last
eligible?
night.
You
If
officially
you would have
went
seen where I was
undrafted.
at. Hey, I was a top
Ron,
pick.
Ron, I got a pickup line for you next time you go to the club. You just tell them I went undrafted just like Austin Reeves and Ben Wallace. Just tell them. And like Fred VanVleet, I'm the next one. I'm next up. Because you technically went
either way-
undrafted. So did Ox. If
either
you
way,
were
it-
if you were a high level basketball player at any level, you were automatically draft eligible. I believe whether you entered or not, like when you're 22, I think like when you exhaust like 4 years of college eligibility or 5 years of college eligibility at this point, there was like a Jose Calderon. He was a player who was playing with Tau, and he didn't even enter the draft, and he went undrafted at 22. Jorge Garbajosa, he went undrafted too. So like all these international guys, they go undrafted, but they're just automatically draft eligible.
Yeah, but still though, like this is the future of college sports. College sports are cooked, man. Whatever happened to amateur rights, you know.
They're getting
All
paid
right,
now.
we got another super chat from Mihail Ostojal. Hope I said your name right. But Mihail said, Jokic this decade, ... wins first. Points first. Assist first. Rebounds first. Steals first. Defense worst. Why isn't anyone talking about this?
Because why would they? We all know Jokic puts up great stats. Everyone agrees he's kind of like the best player in the world. So like, why would they need to fight for him like that?
Wait, hold on.
Hey,
How
y'all watch that game
many
last
people up here think he's the best player in the world?
Show of hands, everybody, raise them high.
That's one person out of four. Five. 1 person out of 5.
This
That's
is not
20%.
This is not
the consensus you promised us, Casual.
This is not the norm.
I think most people do.
Let me run a poll.
Right now is the best player.
Did y'all all watch that game last night? Dallas versus Denver.
I did.
I was too busy watching
I wanna
Scotty
know,
Barnes put Belto ass to the Miami
Does
Heat.
Nikola Jokic know that in basketball you're allowed to play defense? No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Does he know that it's actually an option? Like you can actually.
He has been informed, Ox. He's been told.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So he's actively making a conscious a decision to not even attempt to play defense.
Ox, Denver just goes out there, and I mean, you can't even blame them for getting into this mindset, but they just figure they can just outscore you because I mean, most of the time they can. So they just go out there, produce a lot of points, don't play no defense.
Gotcha.
The next super chat is from Pimp named Slickback. Pimp said, "Do you know how much better the NBA would be right now in terms of growth if Wemby was a Hornet and Cooper was a Wizard? Like speed the wealth,
Right.
keep letting the guys go to the same place as bad, or like spread the wealth."
Yeah.
Man, you can go straight to hell trying to take Wemby off the Spurs, man. I was so happy when Wemby got drafted to the Spurs. I was praying. I was praying to my God. I was like, yo, Spurs are Raptors, Spurs are Raptors, Spurs are Raptors. And I'm like, good stuff. I don't want to see 7'6" Victor Wembanyama go to the Charlotte Hornets and get ruined. I don't want to see him go to the New Orleans Pelicans and have his career derailed.
How would they ruin Wemby?
The
If
same
Wemby's
one-
a generational talent, how would they ruin Wemby?
because Casual, many
You won't
things are
succeed
true.
at a high level as far as like the winning, but how would they just like ruin Wemby?
Capping a player's potential comes down to training, opportunity, development, all that stuff. Same thing that Real Talk was talking about, like how they've developed Cooper Flagg, and he was complaining about Jason Kidd running up at point. I agreed with that decision. I love that decision. That showed innovation. Victor Wembanyama taking a whole bunch of threes last year. As much as it pissed off Jordan and pissed off a lot of people, I agreed with that decision. This evolution long term is the betterment of the player as opposed to the betterment of the franchise. Great franchises invest in their franchise players, development, health, longevity, etc. Butch Carter, if you remember Butch Carter in 1998, actually held Tracy McGrady back on minutes restrictions because he said his body couldn't handle too many minutes. What happened? He went to Orlando, played 40 minutes a night, broke down. My point is there has to be some element of protecting a player from themselves. Bad franchises do not have long-term visions.
Listen, I agree that the great franchises are better at developing players than the poor franchises, but I think like if Wemby's this generational talent, then he would thrive anywhere. I mean, I thought LeBron could have been, if he would have went anywhere, he would have been organizational proof. You know what I mean? Like,
so LeBron
James
is a great example.
Yes,
the Nationals didn't ruin.
LeBron is a great example. Hold on, LeBron's a great example. What if LeBron had gone to Detroit?
He would have won more, but it didn't ruin him as a player.
He would have won. He would have won a championship as a rookie.
I think LeBron would have been much better if he gone to Detroit because he would have played with Tayshaun Prince, Chauncey Billups. He wouldn't have developed some of the nasty bad habits that he had early on. He would have learned to win sooner. He probably would have won a lot more championships. We might actually have a legitimate LeBron versus Jordan debate without lying to ourselves right now.
Earlier when we were earlier talking about bad franchises, you brought up the fact about like coaching and the training staffs and all that. So on the Detroit Pistons, when Larry Brown is the coach of that team during that time, and this is the same coach who just didn't play him in the Olympics because he was a young player. You're telling me that that doesn't have an opportunity to not pan out how you think in your head about that?
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, like LeBron is that level of talent where by year 2, if you're not playing him, you're getting fired. Like he's bigger than Larry Brown. Let's just put it that way. If you get LeBron James, like I was there. I don't know how old you are, Real Talk. I know how old I am, and I was there. I'm like a little bit younger than LeBron, but like, I mean, I was conscious as a teenager when he was coming up into the league, and I was playing basketball when he was coming up in the league. And I remember watching this dude, and I'm like, any team that gets him is reorienting their whole franchise towards him. Ben Wallace was once on an interview saying, I'm happy we didn't get Carmelo Anthony because we might not have won a championship if we got Melo. But why? Because Melo would have immediately needed to start. He would have complained if he wasn't starting. I get all that. I'm just saying long term, what's better for the LeBron is probably to win earlier as opposed to having to floor lift those crappy ass rosters. I'm just say that.
All right, y'all. The next super chat, and by the way, I'm running a poll right now, and I'm asking, is Jokic, in fact, the best player in the world? 53% of you guys have voted yes. I'll let the poll run for a little bit longer.
So not everyone.
But a majority. The real Xavier Thompson sent through a super chat and said the Lakers have always been mid. Only reason people had hope was because they had Luka, not because the team was a well-rounded machine. Also, Ant is like that. Love the defense.
Austin Reeves is really good. I don't think people are giving enough credit.
Austin Reeves is really good. He was playing at, and really, to be honest with you, at an historic level to start the season. But that's not the player that he is.
Is he all NBA right now? Real talk?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
That's pretty amazing. Because Luka's all NBA too. That's 2 all NBA players. And LeBron's at least an all-star.
The rest of the roster around it, though, like it doesn't go together. It's not good. It just doesn't.
And Austin Reeves is an all NBA player based on like circumstance too. And he's also really good, but like he wouldn't be like an all NBA all-star player if it was all 3 of them playing every single night.
But that's pecking order, contract, seniority, politics, and bullshit, frankly, because I mean, again, Mars has brought this up in that little clip that PC released. Without Luka, without LeBron, like this dude is going nuts.
Mm-hmm. He was on a
all right. Bradley Beaumont.
One real quick. I want to talk about like Rich Paul again. As far as the AR point, Rich Paul came out and said that AR Austin Reeves should come off the bench potentially, right? So he insinuated it to help the team and be a better team this year. Mind you, Austin Reeves is basically in a contract year this year, and you have a player on the team's agent telling another player that he should sacrifice his role, which potentially sacrifice his money and come off the bench and lessen his production in a contract year, and he's an agent. That is wild behavior.
But he's not his agent, is he?
He's just
but
JJ not going to do that regardless of what Rich Paul said. Rich Paul don't know.
I'm not saying JJ going to listen to it, but another agent speaking on another agent's circumstances publicly and what he should be doing on his team and potentially saying he should be coming off the bench to make less money. Yeah, I feel like in the world of agents, that's doing a lot. That's doing a lot. I wouldn't want another agent. Who's Austin Reeves' agent? I have no clue. I just know it's not Rich Paul.
Whoever he is, he should call Rich Paul out. You got to catch my.
Yeah, like hey, you need to. Hey, yeah, that's wild.
It's Aaron Riley and Reggie Berry from AMR.
So Aaron and Reggie should be pushing up on Rich right now.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
No, you should just let the comment go.
They need to catch it. No, they need to catch him at happy hour and jumping.
I should just let the comment go.
All right, y'all. Hey, the Black Vans go pull up on them boys. Also gonna have new agents. But Bradley Beaumont sent through a super chat and said, I think what's lost is every player, whether top 10 or undrafted, just wants the money and an okay career. The dream is not necessarily to be LeBron or MJ.
That's not every player.
All right. The next super chat is from OK3291. OK said the current Spurs are a clear example. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and Champagnie were mediocre players. But after drafting talent, they look better, minimized, just like PJ Washington.
This concept of PJ being minimized is wrong. He had a virtually similar role in Charlotte as he did in Dallas. Just not true. Same usage, roughly. First 4 years, about 18, 19% usage. And Dallas was about a 20% usage. If anything, you could say his role went up. It's just not right. Denny Avdia went from Washington and got more usage in Portland, and he's been a better player. Go make it make sense.
All right, Penn just cooked y'all yet again. Randy Ballin said, fun fact, Kawhi is 97.9% from the free throw line this year.
That's pretty insane.
And remember when he missed that free throw in the finals? Thanks, bro.
Came a long way from then, huh?
Yeah, he
Heard
did.
that, Ox, huh? Missing free throws in the finals. I guess he was a bum knee away from hitting the free throw too.
Speaking of finals, do you know that the 2019 Raptors didn't have a single top 14 pick? I'm still on that, Casual. I'm still on it.
Oh my god! I never said it was impossible.
Not a single player picked top 14. Go figure. Shit.
DSG Piccolo sent through a super chat, said, Pin, if Khan and them can change the culture in Charlotte, then Wemby should have been able to as well.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's what I just said. If Wemby was a generational talent, like we all believe he is, then he could go anywhere and cook. Like,
absolutely.
What are we doing?
Wemby and LeBron, like, these are very strong personalities. They will come in, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be maximized. They can still be good. It's possible for a player to be good but not be maximized, right? But Casual, as a basketball fan, I think you would want the best players to achieve their best outcomes, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about just like the talent. You're talking about like the accolades and they'll win more playoff games and have more championships.
I'm not talking about that.
Obviously, they're in a better situation. LeBron will win more if they're in a better situation. But like if LeBron got drafted in Cleveland and Detroit, how does Detroit actually make LeBron a better player?
Detroit makes LeBron a better player because he would have better teammates. And he would be held accountable defensively much more than he was earlier in Cleveland. I mean, look, like, for all we say about LeBron as an offensive player, do you believe that he achieved his absolute apex as a defender? Do you believe?
Yes.
Okay. Proof that screaming loud does not make you right.
No, bro. No. It's the fact that we watched him 2009 to 2014. What are you talking about?
Where did he play at that point? Was he playing?
He was second.
Was he playing in
that
Cleveland?
wasn't the question. You asked did he peak out as a defender. Some of that was in Cleveland, by the way.
He was second.
But here's the thing, real talk. You can never know what would have happened if he had actually played with Tayshaun Prince and Ben Wallace.
So you're saying LeBron would have been? So you're saying LeBron would have benefited if he would have been a role player and pretty much sat behind all those guys instead of being getting.
He would have never sat behind those guys, yo. He was
essentially he would have been on the bottom of the totem pole.
Oh my God, no, he wouldn't.
LeBron is not getting more shots than Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton.
I'm sorry, I watched those teams. There's no way in hell you think that anybody in the world would have taken LeBron James and been like, you know what, sit in the corner, buddy. You're a role player. Nobody was fucking doing that. Okay, LeBron was like the minute he was drafted, he was a top 3 asset in the NBA. Top 3. Okay, you are not taking that asset and pissing him off by putting him at the end of the bench. That's ridiculous.
Top 3
this
asset?
is not Darko Milicic. Top 3 asset in terms of like player value around the league. Like I'll tell you right now, in 2003, you could not have traded Kobe Bryant for the number 1 pick. You could not have traded Shaquille O'Neal for the number 1 pick. You could not have traded. You might have been able to trade Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan, and that is the list, and that is the end of the list.
They would have traded.
No,
Kobe.
fuck no.
Stop it.
No,
They
Ron, come on. No,
if KG and Tim Duncan go, Kobe go. Probably, maybe even Jason Kidd too.
In 2002,
Jason Kidd was that nice at that moment in time.
Kobe was being explored in trades for Vince Carter. Okay, like let's just be real.
Well, nobody trading Kobe Bryant for no goddamn Vince Carter.
They tried.
Yo, Ron, it's about that time, brother.
Pimp named Slipback sent through another super chat. It said, Pin, if a team like the Wizards are bad at drafting and developing talent, how does punishing them and making it even harder for them to get top-end talent help the league? We've lost the plot. We've lost Pin. God
keep giving them more chances, bro. Just keep giving them more chances. That's why that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're already bad at drafting, if you really think they're like this bad drafting team, then kick them out the league then. If you don't want to help them, then kick them out the league. I understand they have poor ownership. They probably have poor staff. They're probably poor at developing. Yeah, that's why we got to keep giving them the number 1 pick so they have a more likely chance at hitting. I even said in my take, they probably don't have the best scouting department compared to like a San Antonio or KC or the best general managers. That's why you give them the top pick, so it's easier for them in the draft. It's easier to pick number 2 than it is to pick 30. It's just simple.
I think it's very interesting that the 2 oldest people on the panel were the ones who disagreed with this take the most. I just think that that's interesting.
What, Chill and Real Talk?
No, Chill and me.
Real Talk is crazy.
Well, my thing about this, happy birthday, brother. Where I do.
You want to get cooked on Friday?
About who? I've been cooking.
Pull up on Friday and you'll see.
What this is the thing where I do agree with Chill and Pin on this is that, like, if you can't manage $100,000, you can't manage $100 million.
There you
know
go.
What I'm saying? Like, it's just one of them things. People think that the answer is to get more money. The answer is to get financially literate.
So kick them out the league. If you don't want to help them, then kick them out the league. How are they supposed to get better?
I think so. No, this is one thing I would say. Maybe no, because that you can't do that. But kick them out the league is not the right thing to do.
So then how do they get better? That's my thing. I'm not saying my plan or the plan that the NFL has is like the most perfect thing in the world.
That they're just
you
going to
gotta
take
like
their
help
picks.
them out.
Just bro, you can't just keep giving them the number 1. What I think is fine is to not have you can't have the top 4 every single year. I think there's nothing wrong with that because if you what that's going to do is force you to get better. When you stop giving people handouts, they're forced to.
Well, see, this is a lie because this is a lie because the current taking system isn't helping at all either.
Go live in Cuba, man. What are you doing? Like, this shit ain't
current
communism.
Isn't working at all.
I love to live in
Lottery,
Cuba.
We're like the 14th best team, like the 14th
worst
team can get the number 1 pick. It's not working either.
Is this like
the best economies in the world were the ones that forced people to innovate? If I just hand you $2,000 every single month to cover your base necessities, I'm not even giving you a chance. I'm making you frankly reliant on my assistance.
That's called universal basic income, a policy that's probably needed in 2026. But casual, it definitely is if you look at the state of the country. Casual.
We doing good in California.
Better education, real talk. We need better literacy scores, real talk.
Fellas.
Yeah, we need all of that.
We're about to move to the next super chat.
But
we're finally having a good conversation.
We are having a pretty good conversation. You've been trying to stifle it all day as an L host. You like the Grinch of the hosts right now.
Boo this man.
Y'all, it's Christmas Eve. I'm trying to go put something in this eggnog. All right.
Hey, I heard that. Well, I got to go to the gym first, bro.
Well, you messed up. You get a cup like this. You can drink wine the whole time.
F that gin.
Ooh, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm about to go hit this gym. About to go crazy for 2 hours, and then I'm going to check out for about 2.5 days.
2 hours?
What you mean?
You go to the gym for 2 hours, Ox?
Pin, overlook that. He is lying. Look at Ox. Ox, stand up.
What?
Show us how many days you've been in the gym for 2 hours.
Hey, you better stop playing. Well, I mean, no, in the gym that includes the sauna, that includes the hot tub, that includes the recovery.
Oh, you
stand up and show us.
Sauna ain't the gym.
I'm not going to the gym to sit in the sauna for 2 hours, Pin. You work out for about an hour and 20, hour 25, and then
you count the drive over too. I just want to know how much.
You need to worry about your ass in the gym. You need to get your ass up off the sofa and get to the gym. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I've been to the gym 4 times this week. I'm in the gym. I've been to the gym 4 times this week. 4 times last week. 4 times the week before.
Pin, I could bench press you. I'm in the gym. Y'all, that's what y'all need to do. Y'all need to get y'all ass in the gym. Don't stop worried about me. Y'all up here trying to audit what I do in the gym. You need to get your ass in the gym.
Dre Knows Ball said Rich Paul just stated he doesn't mind Kobe above LeBron all time in a podcast with Max Kellerman. Even Bron's longtime friend and agent says he's top 3, but let advanced analytics say it. He's not even top 10.
Well,
Dre knows
it's
ball.
Obvious to say Drew definitely does not know ball. Or Dre.
Oh, my bad, Dre.
Does not know ball.
It was Drew.
It is
Dre,
funny
Drew,
how,
same
like,
thing.
all the players, like, well, let me not say all, because nothing is all or never. But most of the players that have competed against Kobe, or most players, NBA players in general, are way higher on Kobe than, like, the people that do these lists and stuff like that.
You know why? Real talk. You know why? Because y'all allowed people to put numbers on everything. Numbers on everything, and y'all act like that's just the gospel.
Facts.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't have Kobe top 10, just throw the list out and redo it, please. Like, please.
I know a guy. I know a fella.
I know there's someone on the panel. Oh, he left, but
Pip named Slickback said, "Wait, so it's okay for the Spurs to just luck into Wemby and the Mavs to blow it with Luka and get bailed out with Cooper Flagg? Question mark. The NBA lottery isn't capitalism; it's an authoritarian system."
Authoritarian system.
Yeah, I mean the Mavs getting Cooper Flagg was just that. The Mavs getting Cooper Flagg should have just ended the lottery right there. Why? I thought that Adam Silver should have destroyed the lottery right there. Like this shouldn't happen. Like why? Because Washington would be so much better today if they had Cooper Flagg.
Casual is right too, by the way. If you're not going to invest in the bad teams getting like draft picks, what is the point of keeping the franchise? Like quite literally.
So the way the draft lottery, I don't know if y'all have seen the draft lottery and how it works, but there's like 1,000 combinations, right? Or like 10,000 combinations of numbers, and every team has like a set of combinations. It's almost like and the Raptors, ironically, were one number away from Cooper Flagg. They ended up with the 9th pick. It's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it, man.
You should be happy they didn't, because they would have traded Scotty ass.
No, they would have played both teams together. That would have been great.
They would have turned Cooper Flagg into a high-level role player. But shout out to Mavs fan 06 for becoming a YouTube member. Shout out to Miguel Dominguez for becoming a YouTube member. And shout out to Mahel Ostoshaw for also becoming a YouTube member. Also, I want to definitely shout out to all of our Hall of Famers. That includes Kingster. That includes Rob Deere. That includes Delsky. That includes DNE MLV. That includes Drago FC. That includes Small Boxes. That includes My Dog DeVale Perspective. That includes Bulletproof. That includes Cheese. That includes Worldwide Mace Television. And that includes Multi Kenny. Shout out to all of you guys. If you're not a Hall of Famer yet, get off your ass. Give yourself a Christmas present and become a Hall of Famer. Speaking of the season, the Jonathan Frazier said 6 months, man. Thanks for getting me through my work days.
Slow to you, man. Happy holidays to everyone.
Also, Tristan sent through a members chat and said, let's talk about my demon Keldon.
29th overall pick. We don't talk about 29th overall picks up here.
Well, no, because y'all tried to tell me that Keldon wasn't that good last season.
Talk Ox.
I remember
just like y'all tried to say De'Aaron Fox wasn't that good too.
I remember when y'all tried to tell me Keldon wasn't all that. Y'all tried to convince me that Keldon wasn't a good basketball player.
He ain't all that. Jimmy Butler ain't all that either.
Ask Chet.
Oh my God, dude! Dude. Oh my God. Keldon Johnson is a role player. Okay, like
who said he wasn't a role player?
According to Mitch Johnson, he is.
Who said he wasn't a role player?
Keldon Johnson. Like,
he is the heart and soul of the Spurs.
Keldon Johnson at pick 29. They're not building their team around Keldon Johnson.
But he is a good player, though.
Yeah, he's
but the Knicks are building their team around Jalen Brunson, right?
Of the Spurs.
So y'all are having that draft argument right now.
Yeah, they're still
Okay. I'm gonna step out. I thought Casual.
We're gonna step out.
Wasn't that good.
Casual. If you die before me, I'm bringing this up at your obituary. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
This is getting morbid.
Dalton Smith said Merry Christmas to all. Don't forget what it's all about.
Happy holidays to you, man. Happy holidays.
And that's a fact, though, Grumsy. Keldon Johnson is better than Cam Johnson. That's a fact.
By the way, this is the same Dalton Smith
conversation.
This is the same Dalton Smith we're inviting to PC Weekend, a ball swiper up. So
when
y'all don't forget
PC Weekend.
Can you tell me why Swiper is on the graphic card and then he's not in the video? Can you tell me that? Like, was there a dense
for the algorithm? The algorithm.
Okay, got you.
What graphic card?
The Nuggets lost, so you know.
Well, I mean, Swiper is the face of this show. but he's
the
not
MVP,
on the show,
isn't he?
Because the Nuggets got popped last night.
Yeah, the
It's
Nuggets got
algorithm.
Okay.
Swiper's not on the graphic for this show, Pin.
Yeah, he was.
He was earlier. I'm pretty sure somebody
Has
else
he
said
changed?
it.
Ron don't know. He don't make the graphics.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ron
he is.
did.
Trying to psyop me, Ron.
Well, guess who's on the face of this show, and guess who's the face of the league? Keep having
Why
to
is
remind
it
y'all we
Phillip
like
Rivers
that
on any of these thumbnails?
because he took 2 L's back to back to the best division.
No,
in the
I'll
league,
tell you
the
why.
NFC
I'm gonna tell you
West.
why. Because
Been telling y'all about the NFC West.
Because Swiper's a hater. Swiper's a hater. He won't show Phillip Rivers no love, and because Phillip Rivers is better than Lamar Jackson. Why is Phillip Rivers better than Lamar Jackson at 44 years old?
Oh my! Next.
Oh, y'all want to have that conversation?
Next segment.
Yeah, y'all want to talk about that, huh?
Oh my God.
Man,
All right, y'all. Last but not least, we got
My
one
man came
more
out there and
super
threw for
chat.
277.
We got one more super chat, y'all. One more, y'all. Can we get through one more?
So y'all telling me Phillip Rivers not better than Lamar Jackson right now, this very minute?
I don't know enough about this question.
Well, just rock with me then, Pin.
Yeah, I agree with
we
you.
have one more super chat.
What am I
from
supposed to think?
Grande Jones. Shout out to Grande. Grande said Penn follows every prospect, watching every team, and talks to every single trainer and every coach and every player's dad. How the hell do you have time for all this? And how many screens do you have watching all this shit? Serious question.
Serious question. I have 2 screens. And real answer, I went to sleep at 8 a.m. this morning. I woke up at 10 a.m. this morning. That's how I do it.
Hey, Pin, let me get a little bit of that.
All right, y'all, man. It has been fun. It has been real. And we will be back tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow for Christmas at the same time in the same place. Y'all know where to find us. Hey, Casual, where can the people find you at?
Some casual takes on TikTok and Instagram. And Twitter, I
go.
really want to blow my Twitter. Stephen Pepper 38.
Y'all go follow my man Stephen Pepper, aka Some Casual Takes. We will catch y'all same time, same place tomorrow. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
It's just tree.
You can find him in the second round.
Oh wow.